Trey Styles on the beat.
Hey, what is up? I see you flashing your Shedeur time already. You know what?
Yeah.
Me and you are here today. We here right now. A second ago, we wasn't here, but we here when it comes to Shedeur.
Oh yeah,
Go
we
on
here.
ahead and show your watch, you
Right.
guys. Week 12 of the NFL.
I
It's
should have had my
finito.
watch
It's
on.
done. Huh? It's
Should have had my watch
That's it, you
on.
guys. I say WNBA. What's going on with me, you guys? But we're gonna mind that. Week 12 of the NFL. That's it, you guys. It is a wrap. A lot of great things happened this week, some not so great things. Shador, number 12, got his week 12 start. You know, you guys, it's just always about the divine timing, you guys. It's already written. It's already written in the sky, you guys. Oh God, not not the sound effects. How are you doing? You guys already know. If it's the first time here, I need you guys to hit the subscribe button. And you guys hit the like and subscribe button. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed, because why would you not be subscribed already? No pun intended.
Right.
And if you're not subscribed to my guy, Notty, aka James here, make sure you do that right now. Go ahead, tell them where they can find you if they don't know where to find you already.
Oh yeah, one man cave. Built for this network in the game network, but definitely one man cave. Just gonna do that on all social media platforms: TikTok, IG, YouTube. One man cave. I don't got no Facebook, so don't even worry about finding me there.
I have a Facebook, but I don't really use it. I feel like that's for old people. Like I have it, but I never really use
I
it.
don't know. It's a lot of
That's what
trouble on
I
Facebook.
keep up with my like my high school people on there. Like we have like a high school Facebook page, but outside of that, I'm never really on there.
Yeah, it's too much trouble on Facebook. I got out of that game a long time ago.
Wow, I would think there's no trouble on Facebook because like for old folks. That's what
Oh
I
yeah,
think.
well, I don't know.
Oh my goodness,
Maybe
you
that's why I'm
guys.
not on it. Maybe I'm too young spirited.
Oh goodness. All right, you guys. So we're gonna get right into it. Panthers versus Niners. Oh my God, you guys. Whew. Where's Big Dog at? Because Big Dog, I know I just saw him in
There
here a
you
little while
go,
ago. Hit
big
the
dog.
comments.
Shout out.
Big Dog, I know he's a Niners fan.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for you, Big Dog, in these comments right now. I'm not even sure what to say, honestly, because Bryce has been so up and down. You know, Bryce Young. I was like, rooting for him, obviously, number one overall pick. And obviously, that first year he struggled. You know, he got benched. And then what's his name? Was Andy? What's his last name that came in for him?
And the Dalton, the
Andy
red
Dalton. I'm
rifle.
about to say Kincaid. I don't know why, but he came in. And then they took him back out. When Bryce came back in, I feel like it kind of gave him a little bit of, okay, let me do this. You know what I mean? And not lose my starting spot. And I was like, okay, Bryce, I see you.
Hmm.
Making some improvements, some strides. But even this season, they're doing better than what I expected. I will say that much. But tonight was just a really, really awful game. And I'm really starting to wonder, is the best we're going to get from him just like a backup QB? I'm not getting a
No,
franchise QB right now. What do you think?
he's definitely a starting QB in this league. I mean, just last week he threw for 450 yards.
I'm thinking about overall, like everything I've seen from him, not just like
Overall,
this one
he
game.
he
Yeah.
he's he's what I would call a second tier quarterback, or
Okay.
that second third tier quarterback.
Mhm.
He's in that same realm with a Baker Mayfield.
Really think he's in the same realm as Baker
Yeah, I
Mayfield?
told you
I
Baker
think Baker's
Mayfield went.
better.
I told you Baker Mayfield wasn't that good, and
Okay.
Tampa Bay. That's why Baker Mayfield gets second tier quarterback money.
Hmm.
Baker Mayfield has had the luxury of playing in a weak NFC South for the last 3 years. It's not like Baker Mayfield and the Bucks have been going 12-5 or 11-6. No, they be going 9-8. They they win in the division barely because the Carolina Panthers have been bad, the Falcons have been bad, and the Saints have been bad. So it's
Hmm.
like Tampa Bay, hell, even Tom Brady hit last year. I think they were 8-9. Like, yeah, they skating by to
Tom
get to the
Brady,
playoffs.
Tom Brady catching strays.
Right.
Like
So I'm
that.
just saying it's not like Baker Mayfield just been lining up and
Hmm.
he's been killing the world. Now he that's why the Bucks are where they at. 6 and
The
5.
beginning of this season, you don't think Baker Mayfield was lighting up before the injuries and everything?
Oh yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like,
I mean,
even
they would
early
put
in
him
the
in the
season,
MVP conversation.
yeah, but when I told you when
They
we
said
had that,
Baker was bacon.
and I told you, I said let's cross him out the MVP conversation. I
You did say
said
that.
when you
You
look at
did.
the total game, he hasn't been playing great, but he's
Hmm.
been winning at the end.
He
And
has, like
because
Bo Nix.
yeah,
Another
because
conversation. Go ahead.
one thing about Baker Mayfield is I've
Hmm.
always told people he's a gamer. He has big
Hmm.
kahunas. I like that about
He does.
Baker.
Hmm.
He's
I'll give him that.
fiery.
Hmm. I
He'll
agree with
fight
you.
you. He'll fight you.
Hmm.
But got nothing to do with the first and third quarters. What I'm seeing, you
Hmm.
throwing it to the other team or you throwing it in the dirt, you know. But when you got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and those guys around, it makes you look better
I
than
think Chris Godwin's supposed to come back. Was it this week or next week? Come back.
he played limited snaps this weekend, so it was good to see him back in the fold.
So, but back to the Panthers. What do you think Bryce Young needs, like, to take the next step and move forward?
Time.
More
He's
time to
still
develop, you think?
Yeah, he's still a young quarterback, and I would say from year 1 to year 2 to year 3,
Well, this is his
he
third year, is it not? Go ahead.
yeah,
Okay.
this is
Continue.
third year. He's better this year than he was last year, and last year he was better than he was his rookie year. So it's time, it's taking them a while to develop,
Hmm.
but as they continue to shore up the old line and they put receivers around them, I like the guy he got out the first round this year, McMillan.
Hmm.
Um, another season. You got Xavier Leggett was a rookie last year.
Hmm.
Jalen Coker, who has been out most of this season, he was a
Hmm.
rookie last year. You got McMillan, so you got young receiving core. You got young tight end. You're still showing the line. I just say give him more time. I'm
Hmm.
not out on Bryce Young just yet. He faced a real tough task tonight. Robert Sala has that 49ers defense playing really good football, even without Nick Bosa and without Fred Warner. They're
Hmm.
playing real good football. And we're gonna talk about it later, but this is gonna be a real test for the Cleveland Browns in number 12 next week.
For me, if it was like this, like his first year, I'd be like, okay, you know what? He's a rookie. Give him more time to develop. But being that this is his third season and we're pretty much more than halfway through the third season, I'm like, everybody is different, right? People take more time to
Mm-hmm.
develop than others, which is a given. Or everyone doesn't develop at the same, speed and everything.
Right.
But with three and a half, seasons under your belt, for number one overall pick, I would expect him to be further along at this point for someone who I think is a franchise QB. Now, let's say
Uh-huh.
you could take him and put him in Minnesota, and he might look different, with Kevin there and that whole offense with Justin Jefferson and everybody else. Who knows,
Right.
right? I'm just judging him based off what I've seen the past few seasons, in Carolina. And tonight, as good as much credit as we want to give Robert Sala and the Niners defense, and they are legit, the defense was working for the Panthers tonight.
Oh
Like
yeah,
they were
that
working.
defense been legit all year.
They were given every opportunity for that
Yeah.
offense to be able to make to get some points on the board. And each time I'm just like, you got to get something. Three interceptions and only getting 3 points. I was like, come
Right.
on, Bryce. Come
Right.
on, Bryce. I know you. I know it's NFL. I know it's not easy. I'm not saying that it is. But 3 points and three interceptions, I'm like, they're giving it to you. Like they're
It's
giving
not
it to
good
you,
enough.
dude.
It's,
So maybe he needs a different coach. I don't know, some different
no, the coach is good. The coach is
schemes
a
or
good coach.
something.
The coach
But
is
I'm
a
not
good
saying he's a
coach.
bad coach. Sometimes just because I say he might be a different coach doesn't mean the coach is bad. Sometimes a different coach can get something different out of you. You know what I mean? To help, take you to the next level. You know what I mean? Like I hate to compare. When you think about Caleb and Ben, right? You think about how Caleb looked last year. Obviously, it was a lot
Mm-hmm.
going on with the organization. I get that. But you think about the strides that he's made this season with Ben Johnson. Like
Right.
that relationship, has seemed to do him good. So
Right.
sometimes you need somebody else, that can kind
Yeah.
of take their game to the next level. And that's no shade to the coach they have now.
Yeah, but this
I'm
is a
just
different
wondering.
coach. Dave Canellis is a different coach. They
Hmm.
hired they fired Bryce Young first coach, and they brought him in, and
They did.
and he's turned it around. I mean, he's playing considerably better.
He is playing better. He has an improvement.
Sometimes, and Carolina is a team that is built off their defense. Enrico
Hmm.
Dowdle has been balling this season. I mean, he's had some huge games, 200-yard rushing games. After 3 years, is that's when I really start judging quarterbacks.
Well, we
And
almost
it's
there.
right.
Three and a
It's three
half.
years, and I think, and don't get me wrong, Carolina, right now they're sitting tied for first place in NFC South, which I just said was weak. But
Hmm.
sometimes, it's possible that Bryce Young has peaked, and at his
Yeah.
peak, he's a second or third tier starting quarterback in the league. That's what he is. He can win some games for you. He can
Would you?
with a good defense and good weapons around him. He can win 9 or 10 games for you, make the playoffs.
Would you?
Maybe that's just go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Finish it up. Go
I'm
ahead.
saying maybe that's as good as he'll be.
If my question to you is, if this is, well, I think he might have hit his peak as well. If I'm being honest with you, but obviously time will tell that. We don't we gotta wait to see the final outcome. Um, but if this is his peak, and you saying you get maybe second, third tier quarterback, good quarterback, with the way the NFL is going, right? A
Hmm.
lot more of the QBs coming in are more athletic. They're using their legs more, the arm strength. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Um, if he's hit his peak and he's a second tier, third tier, is that enough to be successful in this league to win a championship with the way the league is going? You think about the Jackson Darts, and who else is Caleb, Jaden when he gets back, hopefully, he gets healthy soon. You think about the young core that's coming in,
Right.
the Drake Mays and the Bo Nixes who are taking over. Then you still got the Lamars there and the Patrick Mahomes and the Josh
Yep.
Allens. Is that enough, you think, to get the Carolina Panthers to the next level? His
I
play
would say
alone.
this. I would say this. It's enough to compete. It's enough to, like you
Okay.
say, if you can make the playoffs, then you got a shot.
You get
Carolina's
in, you
going to
can
be a
win. Yep.
team. Yeah, it's going to be a team that's, like I said, it's going to lean on their defense and they're
Mhm.
going to lean on their running game, and the quarterback just needs to do enough. And maybe they can go on a run where he does enough. It's
Mhm.
interesting. I was looking at some numbers, and what they
Mhm.
were doing, they were comparing Bryce Young's last 19 games with CJ
Mhm.
Stroud's last 19 games. And you would be
CJ's been struggling
surprised.
since that
You
first
would be
year.
surprised who had the better numbers.
You talking about Bryce
So
Young from this season or
Bryce
overall
Young,
compared
they,
to?
they were just last 19 games.
Hmm.
CJ Stroud last 19 games versus Bryce Young's last 19 games.
Yeah, CJ has struggled the past two seasons. Since the first
Yeah,
season, he struggled. Yeah, so we got
he,
yeah,
he
he
has.
really
He
has.
has. And,
Yeah.
and so, and it's his
Hmm.
third year. They came out the same year.
Hmm.
And so it's like, okay, has CJ Stroud peaked?
Hmm.
Or is he still got another level he can take his game to? So I'm not saying Bryce Young has peaked, but after 3 years in the league, I kind of can start to judge. I don't judge young quarterbacks till after year three. And after year three, I kind of say,
Hmm.
okay, this is what he is. Maybe he can get better, maybe not, but he's at least a third tier quarterback in the NFL, and that's starting caliber. Because at
Hmm.
the end of the day, it's hard to find a quarterback in the NFL. It ain't like it since I've been young. There has never been that many good quarterbacks in the NFL. There's usually always somewhere between 5 and 10, and then
Hmm.
everybody else is like average
Okay. So we're gonna switch over to the Niners side. What did you like about what you saw for the Niners tonight? They did
defense.
get the win.
Jair
They did get the
Brown
win.
made some big plays today. Two interceptions.
Hmm.
Um, they were stout. They were stout on the defensive end. They were putting pressure on Bryce Young all night, keeping him on the move, making him very uncomfortable in the pocket. I didn't like what I saw to Bryce. I mean, not Bryce Young, but Brock Purdy.
The other
It,
B.
it, it
Hmm.
was an anomaly though. I mean, I guess every now and again you'll have a game like this. This is a weird game for him. He's usually very careful with the football, but tonight he kind of was wishy washy. But that defense, they stayed tight. They stayed packed, and they really rattled a young quarterback in Bryce Young.
Hmm.
And it's hard going from Carolina. You traveling 3,000 miles all the way to San Francisco
Hmm.
to play a football game. That's a difficult game to play. So I do kind of give them a little bit of leeway for
Because
that.
of the
But
time difference.
but at the end of the
Okay.
day, San Francisco is the real deal, and they're a tough team to beat. They're one of the best teams and they probably play in the toughest division, at least in the NFC, if not all the
Hmm.
football, with the Rams, the Seahawks, and the 49ers. And Arizona can beat you if they're playing their best game.
Shedeur to Arizona? No. Continue.
No.
No, no,
Yeah,
continue.
I mean, but you never know though. I think they're looking for another quarterback in Arizona. I think
Yeah,
I think
they
Kyler
might.
Murray is I think Kyler Murray is out.
I think it might be best if he is. But no, hey, continue on. Finish your thought before I go. Go ahead. I'm gonna cut you off.
No, but that's what I was saying. I just think San Francisco they play big boy defense.
Hmm.
And so you gotta go play those guys. Those Robert Sala, he knows how to dial it up, and he's been dialing it up for a long time.
He
And
looks a lot happier, I will say, since he's not the be the head coach of the Jets. It look like he is back in his comfort zone. He's like, yes, they freed me, thank God. You know, so I will say I'm happy for him. Now, you know me, I always look at just because you won the game, I'm looking at what you did. You know what I mean? I look at the whole
mhm,
thing. You know, I don't accept anything in a win that you wouldn't have lost. You know what I mean? I look at both sides of it. Now, obviously, the defense, is I like the defense, right? We already spoke about that. Brock Purdy, though, he has a tendency to always want to throw that ball right over the middle. Now, next week against that Cleveland Browns defense, there's going to be some
mhm,
interceptions coming in, if he doesn't like that. Now, hopefully, I mean, Kyle Shanahan is a great coach, so I think he's going to do some different things, obviously.
right.
'Cause he's going to find a way to put his team in the best position to win. It don't matter who he got as a QB, he's going to find a way to make sure that they are able to win games regardless. That's what I love about him. But those three interceptions, I was like, "Ooh, the first one, okay. Second one, okay." I'm like, "Okay, Brock, what's going on tonight? Like, what's
Yeah.
going on with you?" Um, and that is a bit concerning for me because he kept doing it over and over the same thing. It wasn't like like he did something different and it happened again. I'm like, Brock, like be a little bit smarter, dude. Because if the Carolina Panthers were better offensively, like when they got in the field, the game would have got out of control. Like they would have. You get against Patrick Mahomes, you find extra opportunities. You know what I mean? Who's a better team,
Yes.
better QB.
Right.
The game's gonna be be out of control. Give the Cowboys even with that offense looks. You know what I mean? The way Dak and them are looking right now,
Oh
George
yeah.
Pickens obviously
No,
is
there's
moving
those
up.
guys, man.
George Pickens looks pretty good now. He's earning
Right.
his earning his money. We'll see if Jerry wants to give it to him now. It's another conversation.
Nah,
But
it's not happening.
Pickens is looking pretty good out there. Respectfully. So next week, I know they play against, the Browns, and the defense is
Yes.
what it is. Shedeur, obviously, second start, so it's gonna be rough waters for him, But I'm thinking about Brock, and I'm just wondering. I'll see. I'll reserve my caution for what I see next week. But
Well,
I was concerned about that today.
yeah, well, one thing about San Francisco, they play complimentary football.
Hmm.
And yes, Brock Purdy turned the ball over. Horrible turnovers. 3 turnovers, picks. He was looking terrible. But because their defense was playing so well and they were turning Bryce Young over, they were putting him in favorable field positions to go out and to go down and eventually score points. And so
Hmm.
the defense helped the offense. The defense built their offense out tonight.
They did, but sometimes you don't always have that. We saw that
Yeah,
yesterday with the Eagles. Like
yeah.
the defense
But
does what they do, but the offense was
but when
not
you're
giving yesterday, and it didn't work.
but when you're playing a young quarterback who is trying to find his way, then you can get away with it. Like I agree with you. If they were playing a high power offense, the Chargers or you know Kansas City or even
Hmm.
Cincinnati, they get beat tonight. But when you're playing a young quarterback who's up and down
Hmm.
and you make those kind of mistakes, you can your defense can help you kind of even things out a little bit, sort of say.
Hmm.
And so um they better tighten it up. I'll tell you that because
Yeah, thank you.
right
I'm
now,
like,
right now, these last 5 weeks, you're playing for a lot because again, you have the Rams and the Seahawks in your division,
hmm
and so you're fighting for a wild card spot. let alone you if you try to win the division, you gotta start trying to gear up. These last 5 weeks is to gear up for a playoff run.
Hmm.
And you cannot afford to have any kind of mishaps because any kind of mishaps can leave you on the outside looking in. So San Francisco better tighten it up, and next week they have a good opportunity to tighten it up because they're playing against a young quarterback. So we'll see
They
how that
are.
goes.
Hold on, read this comment from Big Dog. He's a Niners fan, y'all. If I don't know, Big Dog is a Niners fan. So he says we ending this fake Shedeur Sanders. Was it jubilation next week? Look, Big Dog, okay? Like if Brock is out there throwing them interceptions, with that Cleveland Brown defense, I don't know. He better be careful. That defense is also legit in Cleveland. Let's not act like he's playing against,
Yeah.
the Raiders or something, respectfully, because he's not. So you better be careful. If he does that with this Cleveland Browns defense, they're going to give Shador more opportunities in that offense to score.
Miles Garrett out there. Miles Garrett trying to break an NFL record for sacks in the season. He needs 5 sacks. He has 6 games to do it in. I think he's
Hmm.
gonna do it. Will he do it against San Francisco? I don't know. I mean, and when I say do it, I'm not mean having 5 sacks, but Cleveland is not going to get 10 sacks this week against San Francisco. This is not the Las Vegas Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders.
If I had to go Cleveland Browns defense against that Niners offense, I won't say they're going to get 10, but I put my money on the defense before I put my money on that
Yeah,
Niners offense.
I'm saying the San Francisco 49ers are a well coached team.
They are.
Shan- Shanahan will find a way to alleviate some of what Cleveland Brown does very well, which that defensive line with Mason Graham and Miles Garrett, those guys they coming in now. They getting through there. Not one time did I see Pete Carroll chip Miles Garrett. Put another guy on him. One guy is not gonna stop Miles
So
Garrett
hold
from
on,
doing what he's gonna
because
do.
we'll get
Yeah,
to that
yeah,
game a little
okay,
bit
yeah,
later on, But
but
so hold
yeah.
that thought. So moving along, you guys, all right. So I saw this and I was like, what is Cincinnati doing? I saw Joe Burrow tweeted, he tweeted he's back, and I was like, I'm a Joe Burrow fan, so I love to see him play. I think he has an incredible arm. I think one of like the best arms I would think in the NFL right now. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Especially for someone that's not really used their legs too tough. But I'm just looking at their record. I'm looking at the way the season's going. I'm just like, putting him back out there seems like a mistake right now. I don't think it's a smart idea given where they are right now. Like, what do you think though? Is it just me? Am I tripping? Or you think that they should put him back out there?
Oh yeah, he gotta play. He gotta play. And you paying him. He gotta play. He he can still get better. You got other guys around him that you're trying to develop. You're trying to develop
The O
guys in
line
the
is
O line.
trash.
Yeah, the O line is trash, but you still want to help them get better. You want to help your receivers get better. You want to help. You gotta play them. You can't just trot out Joe Flacco for the rest of the season and nobody's getting better. So you got to try them out. You're paying the money to play. He needs to go out and play, and he needs to play well. That's just the
I
bottom line. And plus, I've seen
mhm,
quarterbacks sit out for too long, and they come back
mhm,
rusty, and then you they tend to somehow be more injury prone. So you
mhm,
got to go play. You got to go work out those. You got to work on those quarterback football muscles
mhm.
and get them tightened up. Yeah, that offensive line stinks, but Joe Flacco survived. So I need you to go survive. That's just the bottom line.
Look, if I know as owner, like you paying him money, right? So obviously you paying him money. You pay T Higgins, you pay Jamar Chase. So you want your people out there because you're not paying them to sit on the sidelines, especially if they're healthy. I get it. But you're playing against the Ravens, I believe, who are trying to really make like their playoff push. And right now, they look
Mm-hmm.
a little bit suspect too on the offensive side. That's another conversation for a little bit. I was looking that for later. But T Higgins is concussed. I don't think he's gonna be playing this week. Playing this week. I
No.
think it's gonna just be pretty much Jamar Chase should be back at his 1 game suspension. It's gonna be like the same two-man show we've seen for the past like 2 seasons.
Yeah.
It's gonna be Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. You know what I mean? That's pretty much how it goes. And then everybody else around them. I don't know if I would risk it because he's been hurt so often lately. And when he's hurt, he's out for like multiple, like half of the season, almost all the season. Right now, where they are, I don't know if it's. I don't think I would risk it because I'm like, you got to get some more weapons around him. I think for me, if I'm a GM, I'm going to try to figure out a way this upcoming draft to beef up this O line as much as possible,
Yeah.
trade, move some pieces around as much as possible, so that next season he's better protected. Now, will he still get hurt? Maybe because that happens in the NFL. But I'd rather put us in position to protect him better so that we can win. Because last year they pretty much wasted his good season. He was healthy, they wasted his good season, and nothing came of it. Now this season, you know what I mean? He was ready. They started off, they won. You know, their first two games, usually they lose, and then once again he's hurt out 9 weeks. You know, so and which is pretty much the whole season because they don't really play like they're not playing 82 games like the NBA. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much all your season when you're out for 9 or 10 weeks. Um, I wouldn't risk it, and it may sound crazy because you're paying him all those millions, but I'm just thinking about I'm look, I'm building for the future here. How can we protect Joe if it's me?
Well,
But I'm not the GM, obviously.
yeah, they got too many problems. You can try to go into the draft and try to alleviate some of those problems, and then you got to go into free agency and try to
Hmm.
alleviate some more of those problems.
Hmm.
But they not only have a problem on the offensive line, they got problems with the
Hello,
defense.
Stacy. Hello, Miss
Hey,
Stacy.
hey, how you doing? Yeah, they got problems with the defense as well.
They
And
do.
so as a player,
One
you
thing at
got
a
to
time, though. One thing at a time.
yeah, one thing at a time. I mean, and that's the problem. That's why I don't foresee Cincinnati being a contender for another at least another 2 or 3 years. It's gonna
Hmm.
take them time to build the offensive line and try to get the defense up to par to where they can stop other teams from scoring 40 points. But I'm also looking at the players that count on Joe
Hmm.
Burrows for their contracts. Because you say, okay, we need to sit Joe Burrow down because we want to protect him and he's the future. But am I going to sit Jamar Chase down? Am I going to sit T. Higgins down? Am I going to sit Chase Brown down? Am I going to sit the tight end
Hmm.
down?
I get
These
what you're
guys
saying.
are these guys are relying on Joe Burrows to play so they can get good numbers so they can go into the free agent market and they can say, look at the numbers I put up. I deserve to
Hmm.
get paid. I don't think T.
Well,
Higgins is going to be there next year. Because
you
his
don't
contract,
really.
yeah, because his contract ain't like what Jamar Chase contract. His contract had a lot of language in there that
Yeah.
says after a while they can go ahead and move on from T Higgins. So, and if you're talking about you already got an issue with Trey Hendrickson, you only
Hmm.
gave him money for this year,
Hmm.
so you're probably gonna lose Trey Hendrickson, and you probably need to go ahead and let T Higgins move forward and go somewhere else and get another big payday so that you
Hmm.
can start to alleviate some of these other holes that you have in the offensive line and the defensive line. Now, if you're gonna remove T Higgins from this equation, well, now I got to develop one of these other young receivers that I have, if it's Ishava or one of these
Hmm.
other guys. So how am I gonna best develop them other than playing with the quarterback who's gonna be in the game, and that's gonna be Joe Burrow. So I can understand your logic behind it. I just
Oh,
think
now you
I just
understand my logic. Go ahead.
no, I understand your logic behind it, but at the end of the day, Joe Burrow owes it not only to the franchise, but he owes it to those players that he's playing with in the locker room to go out there and play and help them, as they go forward and they try to feed their families.
So Joe Burrow comes back. Do you think it's too late for him to make the playoffs? Do you think he can actually
Oh,
get in the
it's
wild
it's
card
it's
spot?
it's over with.
Exactly, which is why he wouldn't be playing college
it's,
GM. Like,
it's
if I
over.
got play.
It's over
Look,
with.
Joe Flacco, I know he's older. He's not the QB. Obviously, Joe Burrow is. Both Joes. Let's think about that. Joe Flacco, Joe Burrow. Interesting. But the reality of it is that Joe Flacco hasn't looked bad. Like no behind. In the,
Right.
as a starting QB. They haven't won.
I mean, he
But
was
the
bad
offense
last
has
week.
been the offense has been scoring. They do better with him than they did with Jake. I'll say that much in terms of the offense,
Yeah.
right? They're in a position to be able to win games compared to when Jake was the starting QB. But if it's clear for them to make the playoffs, I think for you to put him out there with teams like the Ravens, who obviously are going to come out there motivated because they're in position to be able to get to the playoffs. Like you put him in position to come right back out and get hurt. I just really hope that he doesn't because I'd rather see Joe Burrow out there than not. And I get what you're saying, about the team, not just Joe Burrow, but the team goes as he goes. That's the reality of it.
Yeah, the
No,
team goes
no
there you
Joe
go.
Burrow, nothing's happening with
Yeah, I was reading earlier that they actually might just go ahead and cut bait with Joe Flacco at this point.
him.
Um, if let's say they decide they're not going to play Joe Burrows, which I believe they are going to play Joe Burrow.
Yeah, they said they are. Yeah, I believe so.
If
You're right.
right, if they decided not to play Joe Burrow, you would have to go to Jake Browning. I mean, Joe Flacco is beat the hell up. He's barely. I mean, he's fighting for his life out there. So um, and that's why I feel what you're saying. I almost hate it for Joe Burrow because this is one of them situations where you're between a rock and a hard place. You know what I'm saying? It's like, do I want to risk injury? But at the same time, he's a competitor. He owes it to the guys in the locker room.
I hate to
Uh,
throw Joe out there, but on the bus, Joe Flacco, that is. But you older dude, like your days are a little bit more numbered than Joe Burrow.
yeah, and Joe
So I'm gonna have to
Flacco,
keep you out there
no, Joe Flacco did his
and protect
job.
Joe.
Joe Flacco came there. He did his job. He did what you want to back up to do.
Hmm.
Keep you in games, give you an opportunity to win while your starters out. Maybe go 500. Then they didn't go 500 with Joe Flacco in the game,
Hmm.
but that's not because of Joe Flacco's failure to perform well. The defense was giving up 42 points here, 40 points there.
Yeah, and that's
And so
something
they
else. You gotta Joe gotta come back in, and he gotta
right,
make sure that every time they know in order for them to win, he gotta drop 45 points.
yeah,
And
but
Jamar gotta run in for 5 touchdowns and
yes,
whatnot.
but as a competitor, you want to go beat Baltimore. You want to mess it up for them. You want to go beat some of these teams that it has a chance. You want to knock out. You want to play spoiler right now, and
That's
at the
why
same
I say
time,
I think the teams are the most dangerous when they have it to lose. They're like, we're not gonna
right,
win. We want to make sure
right,
you don't either. Like
right.
it's that kind
Now
of
don't get me.
mentality.
Now that defense is terrible.
Hmm.
So Joe Burrow is not going to go out there. He's not going to be a world beater because the defense is
Hmm.
just awful. They're going to lose some games, and they're pretty much guaranteed to have a high draft pick, which is
Hmm.
good for Cincinnati because now I can potentially get the best offensive lineman coming out of college where
There
they're
we
going to be
go.
picked.
Just make sure you protect my guy. You know what I mean?
Right, but
Protect
see,
Swaggy Joe. I
the
like Joe.
offensive line is so bad. You don't really want to. Now, I would draft the offensive lineman in the first round if I'm Cincinnati, but
Hmm.
I'm going out in free agency and I'm signing one of the top offensive linemen available because I can't rely on the rookie offensive lineman to come in, even though he might be solid, he might be good, and I can build for the future with him, like Detroit did with Penei Sewell, and
Hmm.
and and the Chargers did with Joe Alt. These guys are going to be staples in the league for a long time. But at the same time, I still need to get another veteran to go with that because they got their offensive line has more than one hole.
It does.
Pause.
Hmm.
So
So I mean, look, we're gonna see. I'm just hoping that Joe don't come out there. Next thing you know, he's back out. So I'm be like, oh, see, I told you, just let Joe Flacco take the beating, pause, and leave
right.
Joe on the side because we don't want Joe out for next season. We
But
want
let
him to
me
be
ask you
back.
this though. Let me ask you this though, because Joe Burrow has been very injury prone.
He has.
At some
He has.
point, at some point in the draft, maybe third round,
Did you get
fourth
a
round,
QB?
fifth round, yes, get another QB and start to develop him.
Honestly speaking, I'm not mad at that. Like I believe Joe Burrow was very, very talented, but health is a part of this league. You got to be healthy to be able to play, and I do believe aside from being injury prone, I do believe the O line is a part of the reason why. A lot of look, I know that he gets paid a lot of money, so you like, dude, you get paid a lot of money, figure it out. Don't complain, just go out there and win some games, play football. But the reality of it is that this is still a team sport. Anytime your quarterback has to come out there and pretty much almost play perfect football or make sure they score pretty much every time they take the field, that's a lot. Having to score 30 plus points in this league for you to even be able to win a game because your defense is not good is asking a lot of just two people pretty much. It's just Joe and Jamar, and then T. Higgins, but pretty much just those two. You know what I mean? And it's unrealistic. Will you be able to do it for some games? Of course, because there's some teams just not good. But to do it every single week, enough to get into playoffs, enough to get to the Super Bowl and ultimately win, it's not enough. And I think they're expecting too much out of him year in and year out. It's really a shame that last year all that good work, just went pretty much down the drain because, you know, the defense was giving up as much as they scored. And that
Right.
was just that. But I'm not mad at the idea. You did pay him a lot of money, but there's nothing wrong with developing somebody else at this point. You might as well. Like you might as well because you can't keep going to Joe Flacco. And I don't think Jake is the answer at this point. So I'm not mad at it. Everybody
I
got kind of
agree.
quiet in this chat tonight. What's going on with y'all? Drop it in the chat. How are y'all feeling, y'all? So Brother D will be on later on to talk about the Eagles. I know he's
Okay.
he's the
Uh,
Philly. Oh, he's like the self-proclaimed Philly expert. You know what I mean?
okay.
So
Okay.
we'll
Yeah.
have him come in a little bit. And I know when it comes to Shedeur, he always has some things to say. Because I need backup when it comes to you for Shedeur, and specifically Kevin Stefanski, because you had my blood pressure rising last time with that Kevin Stefanski stuff. Um, but moving on, you guys. All right, so. All right, the Steelers, I believe, lost this week, and then the Ravens won. But
Yeah.
even though they win, it's not looking too good. Maybe it's just me. And obviously we say a win is a win, but I look at how you're winning, not just the fact that you did win the game. And Lamar is not looking like himself. Like, what are you seeing when you watch this Ravens team now since Lamar's been back, in spite
Well,
of them
Lamar.
winning?
Well, Lamar's not 100%.
Okay,
He's
so it's
he's
not just me. Okay.
Yeah, he's tending with a hamstring injury, so he's reluctant to run the football. So he's trying to do everything with his arm, and he's doing the best he can. And I believe he can get it done with his arm and the as long as that defense continue to play lights out the way they've been playing. I gotta trust Lamar, but yeah, he's reluctant to run right now, and he has an issue that he needs to clean up, which is sometimes he holds on to that ball too long, considering that he's not just gonna take off and sprint up the field for 40 yards. No,
Hmm.
he's very mindful, which I can
Hmm.
appreciate that he's very mindful that if he takes off at an
Hmm.
instant burst and to run 40 yards up the field, he can pull that hamstring, he can be done
Hmm.
for the season, and that'll wipe out the Baltimore Ravens
Them
whole
hamstring injuries are
Super
very
Bowl
tricky.
campaign. So he's trying to protect it the best he can, and he's
Hmm.
throwing the ball out of the out of the pocket. He's doing a little. He'll go on the run every now and again and try to. And he makes some great throws, but he's just not consistent enough right now. And you can kind of see it. It kind of look a little raggedy at times.
When I turned on the game between the Ravens and the Jets, I fully expected that it was going to be Ravens dominance. I was like, they're playing against the Jets. The Jets defense has gotten better. I'll give them credit for that. But that offense is not really offensing. So I wasn't
Yeah,
expecting much on
yeah.
that end. And for the score to still be that close, like in the second half, I'm like, ooh, what's going on with the Ravens? They have so many weapons on that O line. They got the Andrews, Lamar himself, Derrick Henry, Flowers. I mean, the list goes on and on. So I was like, what's going on here? And then when you think about when they played the Browns, obviously, Shedeur came in and, DG, got concussed or whatever have you, but the Browns were still pretty much in contention to win that game down the stretch. Even in the fourth quarter, they had a chance to still win that game.
Oh
In
yeah, they should
spite
have
of
won it.
in spite of, Shedeur coming in and just being thrown in there, not really knowing what the heck was going on, they still had a chance to win against again, you know, no Lamar, as talented as that offense is, and the coach and everything. So I'm honestly concerned. I really, really am. He was sacked like 5 times in that game. Credit to the Cleveland Browns defense. 2 interceptions again. Credit to the Cleveland Browns defense. But in the playoffs, when this is the one and done, and you're playing against the top, all the better teams, the better offenses, shall I say, than the Jets and the Browns. I'm not so sure they're going to get past like that wild card round the way it's looking.
No, no, you can't. I mean, I don't have any faith in the Baltimore Ravens right now. Honestly, I mean, you
What's so
look at.
crazy? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say what's so crazy is we came into the season with such high hopes, for the
Yeah.
Chiefs, coming back, and the Ravens and the Bengals and my Buffalo Bills, and now we're like looking at like a changing, of the guard. You got the second year Bo Nix, Dre, Mayday. You got Drake May, and some of the other younger QBs who are flourishing, because They get more experience, and they're kind of,
Mhm.
I don't want to say taking over yet. I have to see what they do in the playoffs. I don't trust Drake May
Right.
just yet in the playoffs. But they're looking pretty good. Give them a couple more seasons, and it's gonna be a little bit more difficult. It's gonna be harder to beat them, in my humble opinion.
9 straight
It's
is
just
9
crazy.
straight.
You know, it's
9 straight
crazy.
is 9 straight. It's hard to win 9 straight football games in the NFL.
Hmm.
So, I give them all the credit in the world. But I mean, in my opinion, and yes, I did pick Baltimore before the season started, but I think a
Hmm.
few weeks ago, maybe 3, 4 weeks ago, you asked me if I could change my pick over, who would I? And I told
Hmm.
you I ride with Kansas City. I still think Kansas City is the team to beat.
Oh no, I can't say. I don't.
I mean,
Mm-mm.
they beat a good Indianapolis Colts football team this week, and the way they did it was like, okay, Pat Mahomes is still that guy. You're gonna have to beat them when it counts. I'm not worried
I
about what
I believe
Kansas
in
City
Pat.
does in the regular season. I'm not. Every year that Pat Mahomes has been the starting quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs, he has
Hmm.
been in the AFC Championship game. Until somebody can keep him from the AFC Championship game, he
Hmm.
still has to be the favorite, in my opinion.
Credit to what they've done. I just think with this team, the way this roster is presently constructed, Travis and everybody, I see it happening this season. I don't. And that's gonna do with the coaching. Still believe in Andy Reid. I still believe Patrick Mahomes. But the way the team is playing, not just Patrick alone, because if you give Patrick opportunity to close a game out, he's gonna find a way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the way the team looks, the way the offense looks, the defense has been the calling card for the past few seasons. That's how they
Yes.
kind of skated by last season, but barely winning games, but just winning over a kick or a block kick or whatever have you. And I was concerned last season. You know what I mean? I said they're not going to win. They're not going to three-peat. And everybody was like, "Oh, you're just hating." My son was like, "You're hating because you want the Bills to win, and Patrick Mahomes is this and he's that." I was like, "It's the way it looks. It doesn't look good. It's
Right.
questionable." And again, this season is a little bit different, and every season is going to be different. I get that. You're not going to win the same way every single year. But I don't, the way it looks right now, Indiana Jones is not Patrick Mahomes. So
Correct.
I expect the Chiefs to win that game. Even if it was a no a close win, which it was, I expected them to actually win that game because they had to. That's number one. But because they had Patrick Mahomes, another reason why I expected them to win, which they did. But when you take away who's pretty much been their calling card, which is Jonathan Taylor. I'm like, who else is going to step up? I don't trust Indiana Jones, and
Right.
that panned out to be right because where was he at in that second half? I don't know what happened.
It was he
So
was he was in he was Daniel Jones.
you know, the Indiana was gone.
Right.
So, but they're not going to just be playing Indiana Jones or Daniel,
Right.
in the playoffs.
But
So
you
I
say
don't
that
know.
But you say that, and we can go down the list. We can go down the
Mhm.
list. You just said you don't trust Lamar.
Who's on
Pittsburgh
who are they? Who their last? Do you have the schedule? Can you pull it up? Who are they playing the next few
for
weeks?
Kansas City.
Yes,
Let me pull up
I should
Kansas
have wrote it
City.
down.
Let
And
me
if y'all
pull
know in
up.
the chat, drop it in the chat, y'all.
Yeah, this won't take no that much time, but
Oh, okay.
let me just say that again. You don't trust Lamar, right? You don't trust Pittsburgh. I
I
mean,
think they can get into the playoffs. You know
no,
what I
no. I'm
mean?
saying
But
these.
championship, no.
Okay, I'm saying the teams that are likely to be in the playoffs.
Hmm.
It's either gonna be Pittsburgh or Baltimore. Can't trust neither one of those teams. Even though New England has won 9 straight, you're not quite trusting Drake May just yet. Buffalo's defense, with the way Josh Allen has reverted to being the Josh Allen for a couple years ago, you
Let's
can't
not be
trust.
rude.
No, I'm just saying. We're
Oh,
just
okay.
being objective. You can't
Okay.
trust Buffalo right now. Can you trust
You can
Bo
always trust.
Nix?
I trust Josh, but go ahead.
Can you trust Bo Nix? Can you trust Justin
I don't.
Herbert,
I
who
don't. I
last
hate to
time we saw
discuss
him in the
Bo Nix.
playoff games, he threw 4 interceptions?
We did. That
Somebody
was
got him.
crazy.
Daniel Jones, you just saw, we just saw him fall off of a cliff in the second half of it. These are all the teams that we're talking about making the playoffs. I trust
So
Pat
hold on.
Mahomes. So they
So
got, okay. I'm
who they
looking
got
at the
next?
schedule.
Hmm.
Next week, uh,
Cowboys, I believe. Right.
you got the
Hmm.
Cowboys. Okay, that's gonna be a good matchup.
It is.
I
Okay.
believe Pat Mahomes probably put up 40 on them. Okay, then you got the Houston Texans.
That defense is legit. Okay.
That defense is legit, but is the offense good enough? That's
Because
gonna
they
be the
barely won
question.
last year with them crazy calls. But hold the conversation.
Right, right.
Go
They
ahead. Go
struggling.
ahead.
They CJ Stroud been struggling. I expect him to be back by that game. The Chargers, which could be a tough matchup, but ever since Joe Alt got hurt,
Yeah, I don't
Justin
know what
Herbert
charges are gonna
been
show up. Yeah.
yeah, Justin Herbert been running for his life since Joe Alt got hurt. The left tackle is huge. Oh, then you got the Titans. You'll win that
Okay, that's a
game
win.
easily.
Yeah.
You got the Broncos again. This time you got them in Kansas City. That's gonna be a game, and then the last game. So the Raiders and the Titans, you go ahead and get them those two wins. Cause that's who they play. They play the
The
Raiders last.
Broncos possibly, because at that point they'll be like, okay, let's just sit Bo out because we already got our spot, so they may or may not,
Even Bo
have
Nix or
have all their
not,
starters in.
Bo Nix or not. I mean, you gonna now. Only way I'm afraid of, I'm saying I
I'm
get
talking
them
about their
walking.
starters. Go
Yeah,
ahead, not just Bo.
If you're gonna take Pat Surtain out and Benito and all those guys out, then yes, I'll. But I
That's
don't
what I'm
care.
saying. If they have all their starters playing, not
Right,
just Bo,
right. Yeah. Well, they take the starters out, and that could be the case. But chances are, because you got some teams like New England, playing really well. You the Broncos could be playing for seeding. You could
hmm
be playing for that
they
first
could,
week
yeah.
bye and for home field advantage throughout the playoffs. And it is an
Mhm.
advantage if you can get all those teams to come into Mile High with some of the best fans in the world in that thin atmosphere in the cold weather. If you can get those teams to come to Mile High as opposed
Mhm.
to going to where they play, then that's a huge advantage. So I'm pretty sure Denver's going to be having something to play for. But the Titans and the Raiders, the Texans, uh, only two games I see that might be a concern to me is the Cowboys, which I believe they'll beat the Cowboys, and the Chargers, which I
So,
believe
so
they'll
you
beat the
have them
Chargers too.
winning four
I
out
had
of
them
this
winning
next
out.
six,
I have win them all of them,
all
all the
six
games.
games.
Yes,
Okay,
bar
okay,
injury.
okay. I we'll get to Cowboys in a second. I don't think they're gonna win all six.
But they have room for error.
Um,
Let me just say that they
I
even if
don't.
they don't win all the games, they have room for error. It's not like they're on the cusp of being
Mhm.
eliminated. So
They're gonna win some of these games, absolutely. Like they're not gonna go winless. I don't think out of these next six. The Raiders, they should win. But who knows at that point if they put their rookie in and see what they got with the rookie, and they might give some kind of spark. Who knows? I think it's always the teams that you least expect to win. When it comes to I remember a few years ago, the Lions would want to come up, right? And
right.
they weren't good in the regular season, but towards the end of the season, like they always started to come together and gel. Like their playoff hopes were done, but I remember watching
Mm-hmm.
them play, and they were giving teams, they were wreaking havoc. I was like, oh, this team is coming. And they haven't arrived yet, but next
Right.
season they're going out with some momentum, and we see how they progress, as the seasons have gone on. So it usually be the games that you expect people like you expect them to win, that they don't win, especially when it gets towards the end of the end of the season. So we'll have to see. The Titans have only won one game thus far. It might be the one game they win.
No, it's
Like
not
like
gonna.
how the heck did the
It's
Titans beat
not
the
gonna
Chiefs?
happen.
You never
It's not.
know. You never know.
It's not. I'm
You
down
wouldn't
there with
expect
them.
it to happen. I get you because the Titans
I
haven't
think
looked good obviously all season. I get you, but it'd be one
it's
of them
the
crazy
NFL.
games. Like how the heck that happened?
It's the NFL. They say anything is possible, but
It
you know,
is.
I always put it down to is it mathematically possible, and or if it's not mathematical, is it like performance wise, is it possible? And those two teams,
Mhm.
like I, I don't know who's better between the Tennessee Volunteers and the Tennessee Titans.
I'm done. I'm done. Okay. I'm done. I'm done. You just rude tonight. That is wild to even
I'm
say.
just
I
saying.
told you I could go out there and play, and I'd probably get the same result.
I believe you.
Like, you might as well
I
go
believe
ahead and
you.
get. Let me suit up.
Right. What position would you play?
QB.
Oh, okay, okay. All
Yeah,
right.
they're the most protected. So yeah, let me be. Don't put me out
Unless you
there.
Joe Burrow.
Yeah, well, yeah, yeah. I wouldn't mind playing QB for like who has like the best offensive line.
I like
Ugh.
Philly.
Well, yesterday looked a little bit sus, but since you brought them up, we gonna move
Yeah.
right along to
Mhm.
that game. Cause woo. And I'm gonna put Brother D up in here. Brother D, you awake?
I mean, good night, good morning, whatever you guys are,
Brother
and
D, what up,
whatever.
brother D?
Hey, what's up, brother man? How y'all feel, man? How y'all feel,
Man, I feel
man?
great, man.
We
You look like you just got a fresh shape up. What you got?
Yeah, you know what?
That's a
Eh,
clean shave and everything.
Let's and yeah, and you know what my daughter did? She took a picture of the
uh-oh.
back of my head and said, "Dad, somebody."
Wow.
But that's neither
Not the
here nor
back
there.
of your head.
But she,
Don't
she
tell me you
always
got
does
a tail.
that. Nah, but anyway, no tell, man. Come on, man. Ain't no Steven
Okay,
Seagal,
okay.
baby.
All right.
How y'all feel though, man? But
We are
forgive me
good.
the uproar.
I ain't feeling good, brother D. I'm
No.
still
Um,
I'm still sick about what happened yesterday in Dallas, man. I'm sick
Hold on,
about that.
y'all. Hold on. Let's
Oh,
just
okay.
let's
Really?
get yeah. We're gonna get right into it. I don't know. I'm gonna let Brother D go first because he just got on here. And thank you for your patience,
Oh,
by the way, for waiting. Um,
no problem.
I remember
I know you
watching. We were
black.
watching. I was on live, watching Shedeur obviously do his
Hmm.
thing yesterday, right? And I'm like, oh, look at the score. Okay, I'm like, oh, 7-0, 14-0, 21-0. I'm like, you know what? The Cowboys didn't win this game. Philly got it. Everybody was concerned, and they're coming up, they're showing out. What I've been watching was going on, and then I'm like, okay, 21-7, all right. And then it was like 14, like 21-14. I was like, wait, this game is tied. I think I said it on live with you. I was like, wait, what the heck happened? How is this game now tied? And I was like, oh man,
Hmm.
Cowboys are gonna win this game. Once they tied it, I was like, Cowboys are gonna win this game. Like that's what's gonna happen. So brother, you go first. Bad game or bad
Well,
sign for
um,
for Philly.
I would say the same old. It's the same old thing that's been going on since the beginning of the season.
So is that a bad?
You
You
know,
saying bad sign?
if you want to call it a bad sign, you can. I mean, the reason why I would move past a sign because uh, the the OC and the coach knows exactly what's going on, but they refuse to address it. So it's
Hmm.
no longer a sign. It's like it's more like you know is what they're feeding us. You know what I mean? So when I
Hmm.
look at when I looked at that, went back and looked at the game. The one thing that was still glaring was the fact that, and I
Hmm.
always told I said, watch they get beat over the top right corner. Then they got beat over the top left corner. Then they got beat across the middle. And I always and Katja, I always told you this. I said the Eagles secondary is trash. People think
You
I'm
did.
crazy.
Hmm.
And I keep saying it. I keep saying they try and because we get hype over a win. But if you look at a lot of our wins, they like storybook wins, and I'm like,
Hmm.
that's concerning. And when you see things happen like this out of the norm, so when I see the fact that our quarterback cannot get the ball to our wideouts effectively going up and down the field. I'm even methodically. Just give me some dink and dunks. Give me some curl routes. Give me some screens. Give me something that just to move us progressively. We didn't see
Hmm.
any of that. And the whole thing is just that when I see that, I'm going, all right. So now the full implosion is on. So that's why I tell people don't blame AJ Brown. AJ Brown is telling you what's going on. No different than an abused kid in a house. You know what I mean? After a while, something's going. All unoiled wheels are going to squeak, and so that's all that's just going on in Philly. But South Philadelphia, I'm gonna tell y'all now. I know you're not gonna not like me saying this to college, but white folks are upset.
Hmm.
When white folks get upset, it gets bad for everybody. So I can guarantee you there will be more tickets handed out this week in Philadelphia. You think I'm joking, trying to be facetious, but I'm telling you the truth. It's going to
Hmm.
be no, seriously. This is South Philly at its best. You think this is how Philadelphia is run, and it's going to be a lot of craziness going on down in South Philly because everything becomes uneasy whenever the Eagles lose, or especially when we lose to Dallas. But the
Hmm.
Eagles have a major problem, and I don't know what you guys see, but my eyes I always go by the eye test. And I
Mhm.
go by my eyes. I'm going like, nah, these guys, they look ill prepared. It has nothing to do with somebody being disgruntled. It has solely to do with Jalen, Jalen not taking control and saying, hey, look, I'm gonna call an audible here. I'm gonna do this over here. He's trying to be so by the book, he's getting in his own way. He's getting in his own way. I would not sacrifice myself for the OC or that coach. I don't care what they've done for me in the past. But I think that's what
Um,
he's doing. And I think that's
mhm.
why we're here. Yep, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So no, you're good. So Nadi, before you jump in here really quickly, I want to ask you. Obviously, I don't like the way it's looking. I'm concerned because I know a few seasons ago they were winning, but they went 10-0, and then just really just fall off the cliff, and it just it just didn't. The season just ended awfully, horribly, and then they won Super Bowl last year. What do you think the actual issue is? We know the offense has issues, right? We know that. Some of the defense is a little bit questionable at times as well. But when I actually what you think when I actually what you think is going on with the offense, I'm asking you that because they have pretty much the same weapons. Same weapons. They still got Smith, they still got AJ, they still got Saquon. Jalen Hurts can still use his legs. But for some reason, I know Lane is hurt. He's going to be out for a few weeks. But even when he was there, we still have some of the same concerns as far as the offense is concerned. Me personally, I'm going to put not all of it, but I'm going to put a lot of it on coaching because you have such a good offensive line, you have so much talent. Why are you not utilizing it? You know what I mean? I'm not mad at AJ for having his concerns. I think he could have been more professional in the way that he expressed them. I don't think he needed to
Mm-hmm.
tweet it out every single time. I don't agree with that. Although his concerns were legit, I don't think he had to come out and tweet it every single time and reading the books and everything. I'm like, you're not helping. You know what I mean? But I understand.
Mm-hmm.
That was his way of dealing with it. But Nadi, what do you think? Why is it they're not utilizing their weapons like they were last year? Because they have the same weapons pretty much. Why do you think they're doing things so differently this year?
Well, I'm not gonna blame.
You sound low all of a
I'm
sudden. I
not
don't know
gonna.
why.
I'm not
There
gonna
you go.
blame the. I'm not gonna blame the coaching. Um, Lane Johnson going down is a big loss. He's
Hmm.
one of the better offensive linemen in the league
Hmm.
at his
Mm-hmm.
position. The quarterback is a winner. He hasn't been a top 10 quarterback all season. Jalen Hurts has been struggling. That's just point blank at the bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
He's been struggling. He has the weapons around him to get the job done, and he hasn't gotten the job done. I mean, there's plays where you got guys open and he takes off running, or he's just not seeing it for whatever reason. That's a little bit concerning, but at the end of the day, he makes enough plays to win football games.
Hmm.
Yesterday, in the fourth quarter, there were two big plays that cost the Philadelphia Eagles the game. Saquon Barkley fumble
That was
after
crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Hurts just made an escape, threw the ball to Saquon.
Hmm.
Saquon make a move. He don't see the guy behind him. Guy strips him. Huge turnover in the game. That led to points for the Cowboys. And then you come down on the kickoff, and Gibson fumbles the football and
Mm-hmm.
puts the Cowboys right there in the red zone. You take those two turnovers away, the Eagles win this football game. They hold on to win this football game. But because those two fumbles happen in critical moments and you lose, now I got to point to the fact that you scored 0 points in the second half.
And that's
Now
the
I
biggest
gotta
thing for me.
right now
Zero
I
is crazy.
gotta now I gotta point at the fact that my quarterback isn't playing well. He isn't seeing it. But all those things are masked if they don't turn the ball over in those critical situations in the fourth quarter that allowed the Cowboys to get back in the game and ultimately win the football game.
I'm glad that it happened. Because I'm like, you can't keep masking
Mm-hmm.
it. And like I always say, don't accept anything in the win you wouldn't have lost. Don't just like, oh, we won, we pulled it out, woo, we gotta win, you guys. Like at some point it's gonna catch up with you. You can't do that every single week. Um and I know you don't want to put it on the coaching, and I'm not saying Jalen Hurts doesn't have any kind of responsibility in what's happening because he is the QB. But Jalen Hurts has been the same throughout the year since he's been a starting QB. I haven't really seen much variation in his game where I'm like, oh, Jalen Hurts, like why is he take such a dip this year? Like, why is he not doing this? Why is he not doing that? Like, he looks the same to me. You know, he plays the same. You know, like he's not the most exciting QB. You know, respectfully, that's just not his thing. You know, he's not. He doesn't look like Lamar or Josh out there. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but he wins. So we always say, well, Jalen Hurts, he wins. He shows up in the biggest moments. For me, I feel like the offense that's being called is very basic. You know, and you're not going to get away with what you did last year in terms of having Saquon just run amok. You know what I mean? And when I'm looking at the plays that are being called, I don't know all the names and stuff like you might know, but I'm just like they're doing the same thing over and over. Why? It's not working. Like as an offensive coordinator or a head coach, change it. Do something different. You have the talent and the personnel in house to do something different. You know what I mean? And you're not doing it. I'm trying to figure out why that is. Maybe I'm missing
Mm-hmm.
something, but why are you doing the same things over and over and it's not working? It works
Yeah.
enough for you to win because the defense has covered up a lot of a lot of the mistakes, for the offense.
Let me
But
let me
what's going
let me
on?
let me just say this before you
What's up,
go,
Nasir?
Brother D.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, sometimes they say something is hiding in plain sight.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's right there, whether the people want to recognize it or not. And Cam Newton took so much backlash this
Mm-hmm.
offseason when he said that Jalen Hurts wasn't a top 10 quarterback. Now, I disagreed with Cam from the aspect that Jalen
Mm-hmm.
Hurts is a winner. But
Mm-hmm.
when you look at the reasons why Cam said and he gave his criteria on what makes a top 10 quarterback, I
Mm-hmm.
gave Cam Newton no pushback because based on his criteria, he was absolutely correct. Jalen Hurts, just like we talked about Bryce Young earlier, we talked about some of these other quarterbacks. Maybe Jalen Hurts is peaked. Maybe this is the best he's gonna get. He hasn't been a guy who you look at the numbers over the last 3 years. He ain't been lining up the lead. He's been doing the exact same thing year
Mm-hmm.
in and year out. Maybe he's peaked. Maybe he's not gonna get any better than what he is. But because he can squat 600 pounds and he's tough, he can do the tush push. He can pull the ball down and he can run every now and again to get a first down.
Mm-hmm.
That's his game.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm watching the game. I'm watching the plays. He got men wide open, and he's just not
Mm-hmm.
throwing it to him because he decided I'm gonna roll out or I'm gonna try to run, or he just saw it late and he's not confident that he can throw it and not be in harm's way. He doesn't want to turn the ball over. He doesn't want to throw interceptions, so he doesn't gamble. So it is what it is. It's right there in your face. Jalen Hurts is who he is. He's not Pat Mahomes. He's not one of these gunslingers. He's none of that. He's a quarterback that figures out a way to win. And he's never going to throw for 5,000 yards. He's not going to be a 4,500 yard passer. He's going to be right there around 3,000 yards. And he's going to rush for another 600 yards. And he's going to tush push a whole bunch of times. And you're going to win games because your defense is solid. Now, and to your point, Brother D, I'm going to say this. Adoree Jackson is terrible. They know Adoree Jackson is terrible out there playing that right corner. They know it. They tried to address it. That's why they traded for Jair Alexander, who decided all of a sudden he didn't want to play. They don't.
Yeah.
They're reluctant to move Cooper DeJean to the outside because he's such a good nickel corner, and they want to keep Cooper DeJean as a nickel corner. And Kenyon Mitchell, who's had a couple injury problems this year, he's solid on that other side. But every now and then he's not Deion, so every now and then he's going to give up a play. But Adoree Jackson is terrible, and there's nothing they can do to mask that issue. But Jalen Carter and those boys up front are doing their best to hide him.
Yeah.
So
No,
why
I
did
agree. I'm
go
sorry.
ahead?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No,
No,
go.
no,
You're
no.
fine.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
I
I
was
was
just
saying.
gonna say. Oh.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I mean, no, it's
I
your
was just
show. Go
gonna
ahead.
say. Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's your show.
I appreciate you,
Mm-hmm.
Brother D. I was just gonna say because we know who Jalen Hurts is, right? We know what he does. We know that he's not going to be Lamar. We know it's not going to be Patrick Mahomes. Like we know this already. Although he has outplayed Patrick Mahomes when it counted most, I got to put that out there because he definitely did it. I saw it with my own eyes. Okay, but he's been who he's been all this time. You have the same weapons you had. Why are you not utilizing the weapons so that your offense runs better? We know who Jalen Hurts is. So I'm gonna put some of it on the offensive coordinator because last year Jalen Hurts was the same QB and it looked better.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it now? It's not like he's injured or maybe he is. We don't know about it, but he's been the same QB with the same limitations, the same strengths, the same weaknesses that he's been had, and you were able to mask it enough, I would say, last season so that
Mhm.
Saquon could do what he did. But when you have an AJ Brown, you have a Smitty, when you have those people, you Dallas, Goddard as well, he's there as well. Why are you not using those weapons? But
Why is
let
he
you
not
answer that
using?
question. Yeah,
Oh,
why
okay.
why do you
All right.
think, should I say, you're not the offensive coordinator, but why do you think so?
Okay. So the reason why Jalen is not using him, right? That's who we're talking about, correct?
I'm talking about the offensive coordinator because you're calling plays. I mean, that's your job. He's out there
Oh,
calling
why?
plays.
Well, truthfully, I don't think he that is that's the best that's the best question in the world right now. It's the $1 million question. But if I were to guess, I would say that he doesn't have confidence in maybe in Jalen with the plays that he's implementing into the system. Because that's the
Okay.
only possible thing I can think of. I know
Hmm.
that Jalen can ball out. So I know he can flip a switch probably and say, I can go into that gear and I can start doing this thing. But
Hmm.
I think, I really think it's Jalen. I think Jalen is in Jalen's way. I think he is so much of a soldier. You ever notice him? I mean, remember from the Super Bowl that they lost when Nick Sirianni tried to put
Hmm.
his hand up, he slapped his hand down. Just little stuff that he does in order to keep everybody in this tight regiment. Like even though he got a lot of swag, he cursed, he does his thing, but he still got this thing with him where he want everything to be well, he want everything to line up. Maybe that's the way he think. He's probably a methodical thinker, but the whole thing is, I think he gets in his own way. That's why he has
Okay.
no problem not going to AJ Brown and handing off to Saquon, even though the old line is not there. And I know that Lane Johnson is down, but Lane Johnson only been really hurt for like about what, three
So I
games, four
just say, yeah,
games.
he just got hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, the Eagles been jacked up, and so I don't, so that's when I'm looking at so when I look at him, I just think that he is his own problem, because once again, Jalen has more equity, he has more value. Jalen can change things around. He can say things to the offensive coordinator, and
Hmm.
things can move and happen. But the fact that he's not lets me know that I like to see AJ Brown frustrated because in the end, you're going to listen to me. It's like a stern father. You're going to listen to me one way or another. I don't care. Like, all right, we're going to get you the ball a couple times, but
Hmm.
after that, it's still going to go back to the way I want things done. And
Hmm.
if you keep doing the same thing and you see this mundane output and people booing and all this, and you're not really like kind of bothered by it, it lets me know that it's more your mindset than it
Hmm.
is your ineptness. You know what I mean? Because I know the bull can ball out. As you said,
Hmm.
we saw it, but it's like, you know what? You know how frustrated friends are. You ever have a friend that's like a frustrating friend, like really gets under your skin?
Yeah.
It's like
Hmm.
no matter what you do, it's like oh, this Negro gonna act up again. We trying to go in this
Hmm.
restaurant. Here he go. Now he gonna get on his black soapbox. It's like nah.
Hmm.
So sometimes I think that Jalen that's exactly who I think Jalen Hurts is. I think he's a stick to it guy, and he gets in his
Hmm.
own way because he can call any audible that he wants to. He has the power. He has a ring, and he has MVP. What's stopping him? Nothing. Nothing's stopping
I,
him. But that's my thought on it.
Something you just brought up that I'm just not thinking about, and then Nadi, of course, you could say what you want to say as we fully switch to the Cowboy side of it. Um, I don't know what has happened behind the scenes outside of AJ Brown like not getting the ball. It seems like the situation like it's gotten bigger than just him not getting the amount of touches that he wants to get in the game. Now we don't know like what's been said behind the scenes, but I think that the rift has gotten a
Mhm.
lot bigger than what it was at the beginning of the season. I believe it was also there last season, but obviously they won. So everybody's like, yeah, we won, and that's the ultimate deodorant. You win the whole thing, and everybody's kind of content for the moment. But then whatever was there is still there, it just kind of put a betting on it for the time being. And here we are finding ourselves back in the same situation again. I think a lot of to what Brother B was saying in terms of Jalen Brown, like you're open, but I'm not gonna throw it to you. I'm gonna do it this way, because I'm gonna call it the way I want to call it, because I'm the QB kind of vibe. A lot of it could be not based on what you just said that rift has gotten so big that he doesn't even want to deal with it. It's like I'm just gonna go to somebody
Yeah.
else. I'm gonna do it myself because I've had enough of you going to the media and saying whatever you're saying behind the scenes. So now I'm pissed and I'm just gonna focus on throwing it to Dallas over here or give it to Smitty on this side. That could be it. I'm gonna hope that I'm gonna give him the respect of saying he's more professional than that because that's very very petty. But to your point, that is a possibility because you never know. Now I want to ask you this before you give your final thoughts on the Eagles. Do you think the Eagles are making a mistake? Like how, for example, the Lions, right? Dan Campbell took over. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna call his offense. I'm like, you take a step back. I'll do the head coaching and I'll call the offense because I want it to go a certain way. Do you think Nick Sirianni is making a mistake by not taking over calling the offense for the rest of the season?
No, I don't think he's making a mistake. At the end of the day, Jalen Hurts got to play better. That's just the bottom
Y'all
line.
putting it only on Jalen. That's it.
I'm putting it mostly on Jalen.
Okay.
I'm just looking at his stats. I mean, his QBR is the 58.8 this year. That's the worst it's been since his second year in the league. I mean, and then you
I
look
always
at
look for the why. Like we know
yeah,
what's happening, but my thing is the why.
Hmm.
yeah,
Why
but
now? Because he's been the same.
and let me and I think this is one of the reasons why Justin Fields was getting so much criticism because they say he's not taking risks.
Hmm.
He won't take a chance. He's trying not to throw interceptions. Jalen Hurts has thrown
I
one
get
pick.
that.
He's thrown one pick this whole year. 17
Hmm.
touchdowns, one pick. That lets me know he's doing his best to because he and don't get me wrong, this is why he's a winner because
Okay,
he
is that
understands my
bad?
deep. No, that's what I'm saying. He understands my defense is so good.
Hmm.
We can win if I don't turn the ball over. And again, those two fumbles in the fourth quarter the other day end up costing the game. They turned the ball over in inopportune times. But when you play that way, when you don't take risks, then a lot of times you miss opportunities that you could have possibly had because you wanted to play somewhat timid or whatnot. I no, don't get me wrong. I have no problem with the way Jalen Hurts plays because I just want him to win the football game.
Hmm.
But when it comes to why isn't the offense moving? And don't get me wrong. Again, you turned the ball over two times in inopportune times. That means you took the ball out of Jalen Hurts twice that he possibly could have went down the field and put points on the scoreboard in the second half. We don't know. Saquon Barkley
Yeah.
turned it over and Gibson turned the ball over and they allowed the
Hmm.
Cowboys to score. But Jalen Hurts, he's never thrown for 5,000 yards in his career. 3,800 is his max. That's his top. Quarterbacks that throw definitely in today's time, quarterbacks who throw 3,800 yards are what you would call at best, like I don't want to say game manager as it applies to that they're not good, but these are middle of the pack quarterbacks. These are guys from somewhere between number 12 and number 20.
Hmm.
These are not your top 10 quarterbacks. Your top 10 quarterbacks are throwing 4,200 yards, 4,500 yards, 5,000 yards, 20 some touchdowns, 30 touchdowns. His best year, he threw 23 touchdowns, and he threw 15 picks that year. So he's just being real careful with the ball, and he's playing what we talked about earlier, complementary football. My defense a lot of times is gonna put me in great field position and give us a chance to score where I don't have to be Pat Mahomes. I don't have to be Baker Mayfield. I don't have to be some of these Justin Herbert. I don't have to put up 4,500 yards and throw 30 touchdowns for my team to be successful. All I have to do is win with the weapons that I have around me. And they won a Super Bowl last year, winning with the weapons that he had around him. He only throw 18 touchdowns last year, 2,900 yards. And that's why Cam was saying he's not a top 10 quarterback based on the numbers. But when you just talk about the ability to win, then
Hmm.
yes, in my opinion, he's a top 10 quarterback just on that merit. But if you do all the other stuff that they look at when they look at quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts is not a top 10 quarterback.
All right, so
Hmm.
switching over to the Cowboy side, um, I got to be honest. The Cow they fought, like they earned that win. I can't even hate on them. I can't even say anything. Um, I like Dak. As a person, I always root for him. But as the offense, it's crazy to me because I'm looking at it and I feel like George Pickens right now is outplaying CD. CD has dropped some crucial balls, pause, and some
Hmm.
crucial moments, and it's not the first time it happened. It's just a few times it's happened now. And I'm concerned. I mentioned this a few games ago, and it was like, oh, but now a few games later, and the same thing is happening. I don't know why it's
Hmm.
happening, but it is a bit concerning. But as far as George Pickens goes, as far as that offense goes, and maybe it's everything that happened a little bit. They were good offense at the beginning of the season, but maybe what happened with Marshawn has given them, I don't know, a new, I don't want to say life. I hate to say that, like a no a new purpose, sense of purpose. I think is a better way of putting it.
Hmm.
This team seems to be more unified. They've made some changes, obviously. Trade deadline with the defense. The defense looks better than what it did at the beginning. They're not the best defense in the league, but they're not as awful as they once were. Do you think that the Cowboys will be able to get into the wild card position if they keep playing like this? Do you have faith? I'm gonna start with you for the defense.
I think that I truly think that the Cowboys, when it comes to their division, that to me, like they're more like opportunists. Sometimes when everything just lines up right and that everyone is playing well,
Hmm.
they can capitalize on it. I do love that because I'm gonna take up for the brothers. I'm always support the black quarterbacks. But I do like Dak. Dak has a nice arm. You
Hmm.
know,
Dak is talented. He very much is.
yeah, he is. He really is. So when I look at them, especially in the division that they're in, the fact that they beat the Eagles, they like in third place over there, but I'm sorry, in second, but Dallas is going up. They okay. They The reason why I call them opportunities is because they are. It's like they only win when it's like everything lines up right, and it seemed like everyone either had a good practice or something, and they'll just come out
Hmm.
clicking. Outside of that, I know everyone said, well, they really fought back. I can't even say they fought back. They just kept playing. You know what I mean? So it's
That's
like,
that's fighting.
no, no fighting is that, I'm gonna get in your world pretty much. I mean, even that fumble, look at that fumble. That was so uncharacteristic. That was just like I don't even know if he hit his helmet on that fumble. I'm looking at it like, wow, like did he really pop him like that? Or because how he was and the running back, he was kind of erect. So I was just like, I don't know. I just think that everything just lines up for them. When it lines up, they do well. When it's like they have to really buckle down and say, all right, we need a win, they don't do it. Like Dak, just like the Green Bay Packers with Love, they fold and they fold badly sometimes. It's like, oh God, it's like what happened? We were expecting a good game, but we didn't get it out you guys. Whether it's CeeDee Lamb always dropping the balls because it seemed like he just had his thing down. I don't know what's going on with him mentally, but it
Hmm.
just seems like things don't work out, or it's their defense. Their defense collapse sometimes and don't. That pass rush is horrible at times. Then other times, then it seemed like they on point. So that's why I call them like they're like more of an opportunist, like a little like they're like almost like a gadget team. Like
Hmm.
they'll do well and it's like, oh man, guess what? We pulled one out today. And
Hmm.
then next week it'd be like nosedive. So that's
Um,
why I look at Dallas
go
like
ahead.
that. No, go ahead.
But not before you go, just to respond to something that you said. For me, I hate when I feel like we don't give credit where credit is due. They were down 21-0 at halftime. They could have easily just said, kind of given up, like this game is lost, we're not going to win it. But they held the Eagles scoreless in that second half. Now, some of it was
All
because of
right.
the Eagles, obviously, but that is a lot of effort to hold that team because they're still a championship contending team, even they have their issues. Like they're not just holding the Raiders down or the Arizona Cardinals, scoreless. That's a lot. You know what I mean? If it's a comeback, to score and then to score again, to score again. I got to give the team as a whole credit. I can't take that away from them, because they earned that win yesterday. They really did. Now I know the Cowboys pass, especially when they get in the playoffs, you know how it goes. But that doesn't happen every. I don't want to. I hate to say it, I don't want to put every year. I don't want to put them in the box every year of losing. When in the big moments. I'm going to give enough respect to the Cowboys to say that the way their offense looks right now, and with the way the defense has been motivated, and with the change that they
Mm,
made in trade deadline, there is a strong possibility they could get to the playoffs. Now, once what happens once we get there, a whole other conversation. But
mm-hmm.
if they can win, the Cowboys can get past the Chiefs. I'll play the Chiefs on Thanksgiving. If they can beat the Chiefs, or even if they lose to the Chiefs, if they can get some more wins up under their belt, because right now, I think if it ended today, the season today, they win the playoffs. If they can get some more wins, now you can look at the schedule for me, please. The
Yeah, I got
Cowboys
it.
next game. Oh, okay, cool.
I
Who
got
are the
it.
next games aside the Chiefs? Who else?
They have the Chiefs.
hmm
Then they have the I would just said it.
Okay,
Okay, here I go. Chiefs. Then you got the Lions. They're gonna score
two
a
hard
ton of
ones.
points.
Okay,
Yeah. Then you got Minnesota, who plays good defense, but they don't have a quarterback.
JJ's
You got
concussed
the
again.
right. You got the Chargers, who can light it up, and
Yeah,
maybe
you know about
Jaden
them.
Daniels will be back for the Commanders, and then you
Mhm.
finish up with the Giants, which is probably a win. But it's a division game, so you never know. It's in New York.
There's some wins in there, possibly. Obviously,
Yeah,
well,
there's
everything's a
definitely some wins in there.
possibility.
There's definitely some wins in there.
So we'll have to
I
see.
think they're
But
going to
go
beat
now,
the
what do you want to say
Kansas
about the
City.
Cowboys? You think
No,
they're
I
gonna
was going to
beat?
say about the Cowboys. Well,
You think
basically,
they're gonna beat Kansas City? You said
yeah, I think
you
they're
got
going to
them
beat
winning.
Kansas City. Yeah, they're going to
Okay.
win that one. But the going back to the Eagles when you was talking about basically they held the Eagles to 21 points. Let's just put it where it is.
Tell them
The Eagles are
scoreless
not.
in the second half.
Yeah, all right.
That's
Well,
hard to
okay.
do.
The Eagles are not a scoring team. That has been the problem this year. If you look at the Eagles, look at all the Eagles scores. They've had some broke down scores all season long, and a lot of times the defense scored. You know, so when I look at them, you saying, well,
So you think holding
basically,
them to 0 was just a fluke?
no, I don't really think they held them to 0. I just don't think I think the Eagles are in net when it comes to scoring because Jalen refuses to really mix it up and do what he has to do. You know,
Okay.
I don't see Jalen just like really like check downs a lot. I know he does his check. Don't get me wrong, but what I'm saying is, it's like he's looking at all right, who needs to be blocked, but not so much like how can I use this? How can I use this to my advantage? If I know that safety is gonna bite, what can I do right now to use that to my advantage? Even and so I don't see him doing things like that. I think I see him acknowledge things, but I don't see him take advantage of things. And that's the problem I have with Jalen. Because I'm like, dude, you got wheels. You can move well to the left or to the right. So when I know that you can do that, and I see that you still come back and you do the same like little mundane plays, Lord, thrown out to the flag or however he may do it. I'm concerned because I'm like, how stuck are you? Like, what's really going on with you that you're not going to do what you need to do? So when you say held them, the Eagles are holding themselves. I can't. We
Okay.
can't go. Oh yeah, Jalen
This is the
Brown.
NFL. So for you to say the
Jalen.
Eagles held themselves and like the Cowboys had nothing to do with this is a little bit wild.
No. Listen, but what have they been? What have we been complaining about the whole year? Why aren't the Eagles moving the
But we're
ball?
talking about the Cowboys side
Why
of it. We're
aren't
not talking
they?
about the Eagles side
the-
of it anymore.
I know, but the whole thing is just that the Cowboys really didn't do anything to hold the Eagles back. The Eagles can score at will.
Okay.
The Eagles the
Okay.
Eagles can score so plain. They got that. Not only do they got the tush push, but they also great running plays. They got a strong wide receiver, and they got a linky wide receiver who's not afraid to go across the middle, and they got a tight end who's not afraid to get hit. Those are like key elements right there that like what, we can win a battle with these guys, and they have won
Mhm.
battles with them. But for you to sit there and act like, and I'm talking about the quarterback, you can't score, game after game after game, and then you play Dallas and say, hey, they held them scoreless in the second half. I'm going, they didn't hold them. They didn't hold them scoreless. They held themselves scoreless because this is something that we've been talking about. I'm not. Listen.
Yeah, I can't agree
Dallas
with that. This is the
least of
NFL.
my
I can't
concern.
say that Dallas had nothing to do with it. It was just all the Eagles, and Dallas didn't do
Well,
nothing. The Eagles just held themselves scoreless. I don't believe that at all. But I hear what you're saying. I want to get
no,
Notty in
okay.
here though. What are
Go
your
ahead.
thoughts though
I'm
on the
sorry.
Cowboys, Notty?
I mean, like you said, the Cowboys didn't give up. They kept fighting back, and if you keep fighting back, what you do, you open the door for opportunity to knock. And when opportunity knocks, okay, all right. Just saw the Kings beat the Timberwolves. That's two straight. But anyway, when 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 the opportunity knocks, you have to take advantage of it, and that's what they
Hmm.
did. You know, the
Opportunities.
Philadelphia Eagles decided to poop all over the field, and Cowboys came through and cleaned it up, and
Hmm.
and put points on the board, and was able to win the football game. I mean, but that's because they didn't give up. They kept fighting back, and they ended up winning the football game. At the end of the day, Dallas has a tough hill to climb.
They do.
If
Yeah, it's not gonna be easy. Yeah.
the playoffs started today, the Cowboys in the 10th spot
Hmm.
at 5-5-1. I mean, you got Carolina above them, you got Detroit above them. San Fran, like I said, San Fran is in the wild card spot. Green Bay. I mean, you got teams that are much better than them above them. So they're gonna have to win a considerable amount of games going forward. And if you lose to, let's say you lose 3 of these next 6 games, did they have what they 5-5? Well, yeah, so they got 6 games. If you lose 3 of these next 6 games, you're done.
Hmm.
You're
Yeah, it's
done.
definitely gonna be an uphill battle. That's for sure. You're right.
If you go 4-2, you looking for a tiebreaker somewhere. So realistically, they need to go 5-1.
Well, they have a tiebreaker now with the Eagles. They have one with the
Yeah, but
Packers. So there's some ties in there.
the Eagles are gonna win their division, so they're not gonna catch the Eagles. The Eagles are still,
No, I don't think
even
they
with
will
that
either.
loss yesterday, they're 8-3. I mean, now don't get me wrong. If the Eagles fall off the face of the earth, you know what I'm saying, like they imploded a couple years ago, then yeah,
Yeah.
anything is possible. But the Eagles are in command of the NFC East, so Dallas is gonna have to get in on the wild card. And right now, it just seems highly unlikely. You need to go 5-1 just to give yourself an opportunity. I mean, just to really put yourself in a solid spot in the playoffs. I just don't see the
Hmm.
Cowboys going 5-1 because they're just not that good. And
You don't think the offense is good? Forget the defense part on the defense side of the ball. Like the offense, I think is championship caliber.
the
You don't
offense
think
is
so?
okay. The
You
offense is
think it's just
okay, but
okay? Okay.
yeah, I mean, we just saw yesterday. Every time they played a good defense outside of the Green Bay game, they seem to struggle on offense. And unfortunately for Dallas, yes, your offense is decent. It's above average, but your defense need to be locked down. If if you're not gonna be what Joe Burrow was in Cincinnati last year, your defense need
Hmm.
to be locked down, and that defense is not locked down. Yes, has it improved since the trade deadline? Yes, they should have got Sauce Gardner though. They still don't have cornerbacks, and it's a problem. And that's why, to Brother D's point, they should have been exploited yesterday. And Jalen Hurts failed to do that. There's
Jalen
no
Hurts
way
failed to do
there's
that. Not
there's
not
no
the
way
whole
the
team.
Eagles should not have put 35 to 42 points on the board yesterday against that Dallas Cowboys defense because they just don't have the cornerbacks to match up with AJ Brown, Dallas Goedert, and Devontae Smith. They don't have it. But the problem is Keenan Williams, I'll give him credit. He got enough push up. He was active yesterday. He was getting pushed up the middle. He got enough push up the middle to get Jalen Hurts off his square and cause Jalen Hurts to not throw to wide open receivers down the field. I'm watching this. I'm like, Jalen Hurts, they open. The coach can't draw it up no better. They open. Throw it. And you just
Then
What
he
was
takes
that
forever to throw the
score?
ball.
You're running
takes
out of
forever.
bounds.
What was the score? Because they played the first game of the season. What was the score? Because the Cowboys almost won that one, I believe, as well. What was that score?
Yeah,
That
CD
final
Lamb
score?
dropped CD Lamb was dropping the balls in that first
He
game.
did. Yeah, they could have won that
Um,
game. What was the
yeah,
final
they
score
could have
though?
won that game. The first game they played, the score was 24-20.
24-20. Okay, so they're like right in the same situation they were
Right, same,
at the
right
beginning
in
of
the
the
same
season in terms of the
situation.
amount of points that they put up.
Right, right, same,
Oh, Nasir said
damn near same.
24-29.
Yeah, no, it was
Okay.
24 to the first game they played. It was 24-20. The Eagles won. In this
Okay.
game, it was 24-21. The
21.
Cowboys
So we're on the
won.
same place. But
Right.
Jalen Hurts was extended plays in that game. I think that first game, Jalen Hurts, he was part of the reason why I think they won that game more so than obviously what happened
The
yesterday.
re- the reason they
Um,
won the first game was because CD Lamb dropped 4 passes.
I'm talking about how Jalen Hurts played. You know what I mean? He, like him extending plays, him running a lot more in that first game, put them in better position, than what happened in the second half of yesterday's game. I still like to say the score is pretty much similar. When Dallas, had their defense, just got rid of Michael. Dallas wasn't even they were still trying to figure it out because they had this lost Michael on the defensive end. He traded Michael away and they didn't have, some of the parts they have now to at the trade deadline, and the score is still pretty much in the same situation. You know what I mean? And Dallas still had a chance to win that game. I know if CeeDee Lamb doesn't drop the ball, who knows? You know what I mean? But he did, so they escaped with that one. It wasn't like they didn't put
They
their foot
escaped.
down on Dallas. They escaped with that win.
I'm
Um,
looking at this. Let me just say real quick.
mhm.
I'm looking at the stats from the
Go ahead,
first game. Jalen Hurts
go
threw for
ahead.
152 yards, and he
He
had
never
two
really
touch.
throws for like nothing crazy. Hmm.
Right, and he had two touch push touchdowns. That's my
Hmm.
point. Like, dude, you're an average quarterback. That it is what it is. But you're a winner, and I take that. I accept that.
Hmm.
I'm good with you just going out there and win, but you're not
Hmm.
gonna fool me into thinking that you're no more than a average quarterback. And that's why
No,
they.
I'm not. I'm not saying that
So
he's
this is why they don't put.
the most
This is
the
why.
most talented QB, but I'm not going to put all of the loss, a majority of it, on him when I've seen
Well,
him play QB before and the offense look
right.
better. Like
So
I
they've
don't
won
see
3 games.
the same Jalen Hurts that we've seen the past few seasons. Last season before that, when it was working, then it didn't work. Last season, it worked, and they lost a couple of games, and they got back on, and they figured it out, and they won the Super Bowl. Like he's been consistent. That's one thing I give Jalen Hurts credit for. He's been
Right.
consistent
He's
through the
been
wins
very
and the
consistent.
loss, and he hasn't changed. But what
Again,
is different is is the way the offense is being called. They've gone
a-
through quite a few different OCs. It's not like they had the same one year in and year out. So as
again,
much as Jalen Hurts is taking the flack because he's the QB, I'm not
yes,
going to put all of it on him because I've seen him do the same thing year in and year out. So if it was able to look better last season, why
it
is it
didn't
not
look better
looking?
last year. That's what I'm saying. That's
It did
cool
look
to know.
it did
He
look better
he, he
last
didn't
year,
even throw
especially
for
with
3,000.
Saquon.
He didn't throw for 3,000.
He
Saquon ran
didn't
for
need to. Yeah, but
Saquon ran for
it still
two.
looked better than what it does this
Yes,
season to
it
me.
look. Any team
So
look
I'm
at.
not going to sit here and put it on Jalen when
Let me
he's
just say
looked the
this.
same way. When I finish, you can.
No, go ahead.
The way he's looked last season, he looked the
Right,
same as he does
right,
this season. And for
right.
whatever reason, the offense looked a lot better yet last season than it does this season. Now we could say it was because of Saquon or whatever have you, but Saquon is still there. And this season, he looks drastically different than what he did last season as well. So some of it
Ta-da!
is on Jalen, absolutely, but I'm not going to put all of it on him because you do have a
Okay.
head coach there, you have a new OC there, and Nick Sirianni is the head coach. At any point in time, he can say, you know
Right.
what, Jalen, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. This is what I want to happen. Make it happen. I don't see that happen. And as a head coach, you do have say. Just as much Jalen Hurts has to say on the field as the QB, so do you as the head coach. And I don't see you make any changes either.
The offensive coordinator is from in-house. They didn't change the playbook. He
I'm
had
aware.
they're running the same offense, same plays, everything. Last year, it matters when your running back runs for 2,000 yards.
Of
That's
course.
gonna
Of
help
course it
now
matters.
because Jalen Hurts is still, like I said, he's still the same quarterback. He threw for 18 touchdowns and
That's my
5
point.
picks
Yep, he
last
is the
year.
same. Hmm.
He didn't throw for 3,000 yards. He's the
That's
same
my point.
quarterback last year as he was this year. So the difference
Yep.
is Saquon Barkley is not running 2,000 yards. That make your offense look different. Same way with the Indianapolis Colts. When you got Jonathan Taylor doing what he's doing, All of a sudden, your offense just looks like it's so good. Indiana Jones looks so good when you got Jonathan Taylor being on the cusp of running for 2,000 yards. Take that 2,000 yards away and let's see what Indiana Jones looked like. He looked like the quarterback we saw yesterday.
Well, we
the
know
second
who
half,
Daniel
he
Jones
didn't
is.
throw for 100 yards. I don't
Yeah,
even
we
think
know who
he
he
had
is,
80
though.
yards. So that's what I'm saying. Like, that's who Jalen Hurts is. Now, if somehow you can put an Energizer battery in the back of Saquon Barkley and say, let's get these 2,000 yards again or somewhere close, then the offense is going to look the same. That threat that Saquon Barkley offered last year, teams were trying to. I can't hear your microphone.
You can't hear?
I can hear her.
No, I was talking in the background. That's why I
Okay.
muted.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Teams was focused in like, we're gonna stop Saquon Barkley. We're gonna stop Saquon Barkley. Now teams are like, you know what I'm saying? We ain't gotta worry about that too tough. You know, we kind of got film now. We know what they're gonna do, when they're gonna give it to them. Like, it's telltale signs. And
So you think that this season,
Saquon
Jalen
Barkley
Hurts
fumbling the
said,
football is just terrible.
so you think all of a sudden this season, Jalen just said, you know what? I'm not going to use Smitty. I'm not going to use Saquon. I'm not going to use AJ. I'm hardly going to use Dallas. I'm just going to go for the tush push and that's it. You don't think coaching's a part of it at all? It's just Jalen saying, you know what? I'm
No,
not going to utilize my weapon.
I'm saying Jalen Hurts is utilizing them. He's playing the same quarterback he played last year and the year before last. The difference is it's a lot more difficult when you don't have 9 in the box. When you got a running back doing what Saquon was doing, teams like, okay, we can't. This guy's gashing us game in, game out. Let's put 8, 9 in the box, and now you playing single high safety, and it's a whole nother look. But now you're not playing single high safety no more because Saquon hasn't been the same threat that he was the year before. And that'll change it. That's same with Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is looking so good because teams are now saying, I got to put 8 in the box. I got to do something with Jonathan Taylor. Okay, well, now I'm putting 8 in the box. Now you see Tyler Warren running all kind of outposts, in posts, Downs is catching balls. You see Michael Pittman catching. Like, it's different when you got that threat of a running back that's killing your whole team on the upside. And it's almost like Lamar Jackson yesterday with Rashawn Bateman being out. That's his deep threat over the top. Teams was playing closer to the line. That's just how football works. This is a game of chess at the end of the day.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
and
Saquon
Barkley was the queen piece last year, and this year he's more of a rook.
He's not. Yeah,
right.
And that's like some of the problems with the Eagles. But once we find out that that's part of the problem, what is Jalen, what is the OC, what is the coach doing to remedy that? What kind of plays are you putting together to say, hey, we're going to counter this? But we see the same thing every week. They come out and run the same plays. They use the same people. They don't mix it up to me. And when you fail to do that, I'm sorry, I still have to put that on Jalen. And I know that sounds hard, but I'll say it. I said it before and I say it again. Jalen has too much stock not to call something different. I'm like, dude, you got your team out here struggling. You look, Smitty, one of them guys, man. He's sort of like Hopkins. You know what I mean? You toss a ball up there, he's going to go for it. You know, he's going to put his body on the line. He doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to him. And for you to have a guy like that, and then you got, come on, man, you got AJ Brown and you got it, man. Come on, man. There's nowhere in the world that Philly should be as stagnant and as bland, you know, as they are. That's Jalen not, to me, not saying I'm gonna do something a little different. I'm gonna talk not only on the field, but I'm also talk to my OC.
And if Jalen's not doing it, you have a head coach that can say, this is too stagnant. We're going to do something different. So where's the coach's responsibility in it as a head coach?
The only thing
Jalen's one part of it, but there's a coach as well. Y'all keep putting everything on Jalen. But he's still, whether he's a nut or he's not a nut, he's still a head coach. So if the offense looks bad, it's not working out. You know what? We try to delay Jalen. We tried it this way. Right now, this game, we're gonna do X, Y, and Z differently.
The
This
only
is
thing you can
we're going into week 13, and I
right,
haven't seen any
right,
adjustments also from a coaching perspective as it pertains to
right.
the offense. So I can't. So for to sit here and put it all on Jalen when Nick Sirianni can also do some different things as the head coach, I don't. I think it's a bit naive and foolish.
I think the only thing Nick Sirianni as the head coach can do is to pull Jalen Hurts and put another quarterback in. If you're not gonna pull Jalen Hurts and
That's
put
all he
another
can do
quarter,
as a head coach is just pull Jalen Hurts. He can't do
that's the
anything
only
else.
thing he can do
He
because
can't change. He can't call different plays or nothing. That's all he can
I
do is just
mean
say,
now you
okay,
can
you sit
decide.
down.
I mean now you can decide what's your strategy. Are we gonna run to throw or are we gonna throw to run? You can decide to do that. Yesterday it seemed like they came out. They were saying we're gonna throw the run. They early in the game they were throwing to AJ Brown early and often. They was throwing it, and then they decided, okay, now we're gonna hand it off. But and brother D, you can tell me. I know you watched the game. Two things before they got Saquon Barkley. This is what Jalen Hurts looked like. But now that
And
they
still went
have,
to the Super Bowl without him. You
no,
can't forget that part.
yeah, he did. But they had
Hmm.
this the season before that when they fell off a cliff. That's what I'm
They
saying,
did
and
absolutely.
that's
Hmm.
why they went and got Saquon
Mm-hmm.
Barkley
In the season
and
before that, they
Saquon.
got the Super Bowl.
Right, and Saquon
Without
Barkley
him.
kind of,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm saying, but then they went and got Saquon Barkley because they
They
fell
had
off a
Swift
cliff the
in
year
them.
after that.
Swift was good.
Right,
Yeah.
and Swift real good. He just can't stay healthy for whatever reason, but he was really good. But now Saquon Barkley, he looks like to me, maybe they ran him a lot last year, but he looked like he lost a step because when they put Tank Bigsby in for the few plays that they put Tank Bigsby in, he has more burst. He's getting more yards per carry than Saquon. It's almost like, damn, man, maybe y'all need to start to get this young running back a little bit more run to open up this offense a little bit
Saquon.
more.
Yeah.
There we
Because
go. That's another
because
something else to
Saquon
do.
is
Something
moving a
different.
little, moving a little stale to me. And
No, you're right. To me, you're right. And also, this just to let you know why I call Sirianni a nut. Sirianni is a nut because he's more impulsive than he is a thinker. He's just like if and that may be his way, and that's cool. But it's like he does some things sometimes, and I know he probably like, you know what, I want to change it up. I don't want to do that now. But he's so much bent on trying to be right that he'll just keep going with his impulse, even though he knows it's going to jack up. That's how I see Sirianni. I think he gets in his own way like that. Like, I know this is not going to work, but I done called it now. No, he's like, that's why I don't like him. You have to be big enough to say, you know what, hey, look, man, maybe I was wrong. Let's back this up and let's do something a little bit different. But to have your team suffering like it is, listen, it's his fault. But at the end of the day, how much he listens to Jalen, that's why I put a lot of it on Jalen. I'm like, dude, the ball's in your hand. The money's in your hand. You have to make that decision. You have to say, you know what? I know AJ Brown is getting on my last nerve, but I'm going to serve this ball like I'm a waiter. I'm going to serve him up because I know if I serve him up, I'm going to win. I know if we can mix up, like Notty was talking about, mixing up that backfield. If we can mix it up a little bit, we can open it up a little bit more and open
That's not
things
just
up.
all on Jalen. That's not all on Jalen.
I will say
yes, it is because
Nick Sirianni is
no, it is not. And you're not going to convince me that a grown ass head coach has no way at all of doing things differently, even if the quarterback is not. Then you're not going to convince me of that.
Sirianni is not
nice try.
I wouldn't consider Nick Sirianni a great coach. He's one of
no,
the
I didn't say a great coach. I just said a head coach.
I know. I'm saying he's not what I consider a great coach because Nick Sirianni is one of the few coaches I've ever known that went to a Super Bowl and was on the hot seat. They went to the Super Bowl and lost, and they were like, "We finna fire Nick Sirianni because he's just not a good coach." And he somehow, if Nick Sirianni had not won the Super Bowl last year, he would not be the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh man, please,
because
he would have been.
But you don't say that about coaches who get to a Super Bowl because most coaches who get to the Super Bowl are regarded as great coaches. Nick Sirianni is not regarded as a great coach. They had to keep him on only because it would look awful if you fire a coach who just won a Super Bowl. But other than that, he's considered a average guy. He can be replaced.
They
So
do the
them
OC
would have been
and the
super.
DC.
So
I'm sorry.
Jalen Hurts actually saved Nick Sirianni's job. Last Saquon
Yeah.
Barkley, and all those guys, they saved his job because
So do
he
you
was on
think
the way out.
if you think they implode this season, or if they don't implode, but they get to the playoffs and they don't ultimately go back to back, because Howie's always making changes to this roster for
Right.
them to, be able to compete, and contend. If that happens and they don't go back to back and they end up losing really bad, do you think
Mhm.
Nick Sirianni runs the risk of being fired in the season? It's a
They gave him a
possibility.
contract extension after they won a Super Bowl. They gave him money. They gave him too many years and too much money. So
Well, I mean,
he's
is it
about as
guaranteed that he can't be fired in that contract?
yeah. I mean, no, any coach can get fired. Don't get me wrong, and then he
So
can
do you think
just
it's a
eat.
possibility,
Yeah,
depending
you
on
can eat
how it
that
look?
money. I just don't think
Mhm.
Philly. I don't think
Nope,
Philly would do that. I think they'll at
they
least
not.
give him one
Okay.
more year before they
Okay.
say. So he'll have to implode this year and next year. But I honestly, and maybe it's because I ride with the Eagles. I just don't think they're gonna implode. I think Jalen Hurts is gonna find a way to do what he normally does and win games. He's just not gonna do it putting up 42 a game. He might have 42 in a game, but he's
hmm
not gonna average 42 points a game. That's just not how that's not Jalen Hurts. He's never been that guy.
No, he
He's
hasn't. You're right.
Mhm.
right. So as long as they can figure out a way to keep winning games and the defense can come show up and they can hide Adoree Jackson on that right side of the field, they can do that, and then they're gonna be fine. I'm not worried about that. Don't turn the ball over twice in crucial moments. You're gonna be fine. Only team I'm worried about in the NFC, honestly, are the Rams because the Rams are really good
Didn't the
Yeah,
Eagles
on
beat
both
them
sides
twice
of the
this
ball.
season? Am I tripping? They
They
beat
beat
them
them
they
twice
once.
this
lost to
season,
them.
right?
They lost
No,
them.
they only played them once. They beat them once, and
Eagles beat the Rams. I thought the Rams
yeah, the
beat the
Eagles beat the
Eagles.
Rams. They came back in the second half and they had the blocked field goal at the end of the game
Oh,
to
that's right.
seal
The
the
Bach. Yes,
victory.
that's
Oh no,
right.
they
Right.
played the Packers twice. Never mind. I think it's the Packers. I'm mixing it
No,
up.
they only played the teams in their division twice.
I
So
thought
they
they
only
didn't play
gonna
the
play the
Packers twice.
Cowboys. They only played the Cowboys twice, the Giants twice, and the Commanders twice. Everybody else
Okay,
they play one time.
got you. Okay.
No, that's no. That's just really something. I just don't see. I just don't see that the head coach is not going anywhere. They're going to fire the. They're going to do what they did to Chip Kelly. They're going to fire
Oh yeah, they
the
might do that.
OC, and yeah, they're just going to fire the OC. That's all. They're going to be
I
like, yo,
think they
man.
should have. And they should have already.
So do I. So do I. I think they should get
I'm
rid of
like,
him. I mean,
Yeah,
they
it ain't
should
gonna
have.
make a difference. It's
We
not gonna
don't
make a
yeah,
know.
you.
difference if they fire him.
If I'm Howie, I would like like we need to we're gonna try something different because we still have talent on this roster. I'm not gonna waste it. Like we still have a chance. Like I'm not gonna right now. No, the offense is not looking the way I want it to look. So I'm gonna try something different. If it don't work, it don't work. But I'm gonna try at least.
But the playing
I
field
think one
in the
thing.
NFL is kind of even all the way across. It's like it's nobody who's really peaking where you can say that they can't get beat. I see anyone in the NFL can get their mouth punched in, and I don't mean by just by like highly possible. Like, oh man, he may beat him one day. Like, no, I think
Mhm.
the skill level is like it's like that going across the board right now. I
Yeah,
hate
I
to
think.
Nasir
say it,
said, ideal
Lincoln Riley.
situation. Eagles hire Lincoln Riley as OC, but he wouldn't accept that role.
Okay,
Hmm.
you can keep bringing these college coaches in with these rinky-dink offenses in the NFL and see how they're gonna work out for you. I mean, sometimes it works. I mean,
It might. You never know.
Cliff Kingsbury is doing a great job in Washington with
Mhm.
those quarterbacks, but when he was in Arizona, he flopped. But I mean, so maybe it'll work out. I'm just saying. I think last year the Eagles, when they made that playoff run that they made and they did what they did in the Super Bowl, people
Mm-hmm.
think that is who they are, and that was
Who they
just
were.
but that was what they are at their best when everything is clicking. That's not who they are, you know.
Yeah,
So
Kansas City wasn't really
um
playing up to par.
yeah, I mean the
If you have
offensive
to
line
be honest.
was in shambles,
Yeah,
and so
Oh, stop it, stop it, stop it.
it
All
was. And
season
what's
long
wrong with the
last
Eagles?
year. Oh, no, 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 no. All season long, I heard last year, oh, it's Kansas City. They're finding a way to win. This is what Patrick Mahomes does. This is what Andy
Yeah, they
Reid
were.
does. They win, they win, they
yo,
win. They're
but
gonna
but we
three-peat. They're
know
gonna three-peat. They're gonna three-peat. And coming into that game, everybody fully expected that Kansas City, whether they had a good team or not, whether the O-line was struggling or not, they were going to come away with that win.
I
And they
didn't.
got bombarded on their ass. I'm
No,
talking about the
I told
majority, not
everybody.
the minority. The majority
Okay,
expected that
yeah,
they
I'm
were going
just
to win
saying.
that game.
Yeah, but them people don't watch
And now that they
football like that.
lost,
That's the problem.
now I hear, oh well, Kansas City's, the O-line
Yeah,
was struggling. The
and
defense,
that's and that's why I don't.
like stop
That's
it,
why I
keep the
don't
same
like
energy.
watching. Right, that's why I don't like watching ESPN and all those shows because they don't tell the people the truth. They didn't tell. I don't understand how. And this is
I'm
what
talking
I
about
was
my
telling people.
comments too. I was tussling
I
with
know
folks
them
last
people,
year
and that's why they should.
about the
That's why
Kansas City
people should
Chiefs.
listen to people like me that's gonna tell you the truth. Coming up to the Super Bowl last year, and I would tell anybody who would listen, Philadelphia's going. I told them they're gonna beat the brakes off Kansas City because their front four is too good. Kansas City coming into the playoffs, they had to move Tooney over to left tackle because the offensive line had got hurt coming into that championship. And I was like, there's no way. I've seen this before. I seen this when Kansas City played New England in the Super Bowl with Tom Brady, and the whole offensive line got hurt right before the Super Bowl. There's no Pat Mahomes need his offensive line, and now you see they went and revamped that offensive line in the offseason, but you're not gonna win. It's hard to win football games against a real good football team that has a solid front four. If your offensive line is in shambles and you moving your right guard over the left tackle the day before the Super Bowl, it's impossible. That's an impossible task. I wish the people in the media who's supposed to be these professionals who done played, I wish they'll stop lying to the people and tell the people how this really goes. Somebody like me who's been studying the game and watching the game, you got people like John Clayton. I don't remember you remember John Clayton, but these are people who just studied the game and watched the game and would tell you exactly how this is gonna go, and they were right 9 times out of 10 because they're just putting 2 plus 2 and making it 4. Instead of this whole media thing, I don't know if it's because of the gambling and they want you to bet a certain way. They want the line to go a certain way. I don't know what it is, but I'm tired of these media entertainers lying to the people. Stop misleading the people. Tell the people what's really going on so that they can make logical decisions.
Yeah, but I wasn't
It's
talking
not
about the
hard.
media when I said what I said. I'm talking people in my comments who are regular,
Yeah, them
everyday
people don't
people
know
who were
though.
talking about. Well, that was their opinion. Though
Right,
everybody got their own
right, right,
opinion. Me, you, Brother D. That's
right,
the way the world goes. And
right.
because Kansas City has earned that, and you gotta give them their respect because they've been winning for so long. You gotta give them respect, benefit of the doubt. It's just the right thing to do. Because they kept winning. It was like, oh, they're winning and good teams. They find a way to win, even if it looks bad. Like a block field goal or whatever have you. They're still winning, so they're going to get there. They're going to be the first team to make history in three-peat. And I'm like, it doesn't look good. I don't see it happen. I said that from week 1 to week 2 to week 3. I was tussling with folks in my comments about it. They were like, you don't know what you're talking about. Get back in the kitchen. Make me a steak. I
Oh
saw all kind of
no.
comments in here. Make me a sandwich. And I'm just like, say
Oh
what you
man.
want, but keep the same energy when they lose and come back to this comment. And
Right,
then I went back to them comments like, what happened? And I didn't get no response. I'm like, okay, now
right.
you're quiet. It didn't look good to me. Whether I can make a good sandwich or not has nothing to do with the conversation. Like I still got eyes, and what I saw told me that they weren't going to three-peat. Like it just
So
wasn't going to happen.
I'm taking that you can make a good sandwich though.
I can. I
Okay,
do a
all
little
right.
something.
No, but for real, the way the Eagles beat up on Kansas City in the Super Bowl,
Beat them down.
yeah, the way they beat them down, and they beat down the Commanders too, because
they did.
Jaden Daniels started turning the ball over. I think he had like 3 turnovers in that game, and so
And then Jaden beat down. They beat down the Detroit Lions. I mean, Jared Goff looked crazy in that game.
right. The defense played great, and I mean Dan Campbell was doing some horrible coaching. I'm just every time it comes down to the big game, Dan Campbell, he just I don't know, understand, but that's not here nor there. The whole point is people saw that and was like, yes, this is who the Eagles are. And no, that's not who they are. That's who they are on their best day when everything is clicking offense, defense, and special teams. Yes, when everything is clicking offense, defense, and special teams, that's who the Eagles can be. And they can still be that. They can still be that any given Sunday this season. If it's clicking offense, defense, and special teams, they can still go out there and give you 35, 40 points. But more times than not, they're going to give you 21, 24 points, and the defense is going to hold you to 13, 17, or something like that. So, yeah, look, we're sitting here complaining about a team that's 8-3 in first place. They gonna be all right. I'm not worried about the Philadelphia Eagles. I saw how they lost yesterday, and I'll give the Cowboys their credit because the Cowboys didn't give up. They kept fighting, and when they got those turnovers, they capitalized on those turnovers like they're supposed to do. And
You
they
have
won
to
the
when you
foot,
get a chance.
and they won the football game. So you got to give them credit. But I'm saying, even with Jalen Hurts not being Pat Mahomes or Joe Burrow or something like that, he still is a winner.
He
And
is.
I believe that Jalen Hurts can play well enough to send the Eagles to back-to-back Super Bowl titles. That's what I truly believe that. Regardless if he 3,000 yards or less.
Jalen Hurts is who he is to me, so I'm not expecting him to go out there. Like you said, maybe for one game he might have 40 plus points, whatever have you. But that's not what you're going to get from him day in and day out, week in and week out. It's just it is what it is. That offense is not giving that right now, but they might give it this week. Who knows? Because they're coming off of this bad loss. So they might come out there and really put the offense might really show up. We'll have to wait and see. I am concerned though. I don't know if I have him getting back to Super Bowl right now. I have them getting close in like Final Four, but last two standing, the way it looks right now, I'm not so sure. I'm really not. I'm hoping I'm wrong. I like to see them go back to back. I like Jalen Hurts. I believe in him, even though he might not be the most talented, QB. But I do believe in him as a person. I like AJ Brown. I like Smitty, but I don't know. The way it's looking right now, I don't have him going to Super Bowl again.
It's tough because the Rams, like I said, the Rams are really good. And if you can remember going back to last year's playoffs, the Philadelphia Eagles demolished everybody except the Rams. The Rams were the one team that had them on the ropes in that playoffs, and it came down to the last drive where the defense stepped up and they was able to stop Matthew
Jalen
Stafford.
Carter, yeah.
It was in Philly, it was in the cold, and they had everything going for them. So the Rams are that one team, and right now, if the playoffs end of the day, the Rams would have home field advantage, and Philly have to go out to LA and play in a much better weather-wise situation for Matthew Stafford, and with Devontae Allen and Puka Nacua and that Jared Verse, man. That Jared Verse is flying off the edge, man.
He got a big mouth.
But that he backing it up. I'm okay with anybody who got a big mouth as long as you back it up. If you back it up, then talk your talk. Now, if you talking, you ain't backing it up, then I got a problem with that. But Forbes and Kobe Durant, those guys are out there, man. Cam Kitchens, those guys are out there. They're playing some hellified defense to go with Matthew Stafford playing MVP level offense. So the Rams are the one team that I'm concerned about. But other than the Rams, I'm not concerned about any other team in the NFC when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah. That is a tight team for them to beat because actually they almost beat the Eagles last year. It's crazy. They just have a tough time with them. But the fact that Stafford is that he stands still and try to deliver, that's when the Eagles are going to come alive and they're going to they can knock him off his block. That's the whole thing, and that's how they'll end up beating them. But the odd thing is, I know this is Katja's show, but Katja, I can't let you sit on your own show and tell me the Eagles not gonna get you the Super Bowl because I'm still from Philly, baby. You know what I mean?
No, look, if they did,
baby.
I'll be happy for them. But the way it's looking right now, I don't expect them to.
It does look shaky, but
I hope they switch it.
that
I do hope so. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, they may turn it on. I really think that they're going to. I just need for these guys to stop acting like punks. Man, I hate when men act like this. They act like we can't function like, yo, talk to him, don't talk to me. It ain't me. You know how men get. You're like, come on, Negro. Grow up, man. Deal with him. Go up to him. Like, yo, man, what we gonna do about this? We gotta make that butter, baby. And if you're not willing to do that, then to me, I don't want to be on the same team as you. Now I want to be traded. Because if you're not willing to, and I'm talking about no hug it out and we doing kid and play on the field. Ain't wrong with that dumb stuff, man. Yo, dog, play ball. Talk to your friend, man. Get to the bottom of whatever it is, and say, hey, look, we may even see may not see eye to eye, but this has to happen in order for us to win. And once they do that,
go
they'll
ahead.
do it.
anytime ownership is talking to one of your wide receivers or your tight ends about what's going on with the offense, what's going on with the defense, that to me is very, very alarming. You don't typically
Mm-hmm.
have those kind of conversations or meetings, like ownership is going to deal with the GM, maybe the coach, but not the employee directly like that, in that kind of situation. So, like I said, if they get back, I would absolutely love it. I'm not rooting for them to lose, but the way they look right now, there are concerns. And aside from the talent they have, the biggest concern for me is the vision in the locker room. Because
Mm-hmm.
that can only mask itself for so long, in spite of the talent they have
Right.
on that roster. At some point, if they all don't get on the same page within that offense, they're not going to get back. They're not going to go back to back because they got to get on the same page first.
Right. And that's to Brother D's point. I think that's what he's
I'm
talking
gonna
about
move
when you
on, y'all.
talk.
Go ahead. Give you a final stage. I'm gonna move on to Shedeur.
Yeah, when you talk about they're acting like kids. Anytime you got the owner have to talk to the wide receiver, like, come on, man, stop, man. Like, that's some babysitting type stuff. Like, you're a grown man. Every time AJ Brown lashes out, that's that passive aggressiveness. He really wants to say, Jalen Hurts, I need you to play better. Just go up to Jalen
Mm-hmm.
Hurts and tell Jalen Hurts you need him to play better. Stop
I
doing
think
all
he
this.
probably has done that
All this,
before.
I'm playing video games. Oh yeah, man, I gotta talk to the owner. Come on, like
that was
that's
so
that
con- that
I
was
baby.
would
so
imagine
contrived.
they have
They
behind
set
closed
that
doors.
up.
I
I
would
mean, I'm sure
imagine they
they
have.
have. I mean, I hope they have, but
Yeah.
then stop all of this acting like a baby through the media and through social media and having to talk to the owner. Like, nobody does that. Just go up and talk to that man and tell that man, and then go out there and play football and and
Mm-hmm.
and, and, and live with whatever that man's decisions are when it comes to
Hmm.
winning football games. They paid you your money.
Hmm.
Go out and play
Mm-hmm.
football, man. Everybody know that you're a beast out there on that field. Go produce, man. Stop all this what he call, acting like, little baby out there, man. I don't like that.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I'm like, stop with the tweeting. That part, I was over it too. I was like, just say what you got to say and figure it out and then move on. But moving forward, y'all, because Shedeur had you hopped on live with me yesterday. Me and you were texting not even during the game. Shedeur had his first finally he had his first NFL start in the NFL. And they won a game, first QB, I believe, in 17 seasons, to the first QB in their start, QB start, to win in the Cleveland Browns franchise. So that's a pretty long time. And Shador was able to, help his team get the win alongside that, Cleveland Browns crazy defense. Um, but Lee, I'm gonna start with you. Watching this game, watching Shador, what did you like and what didn't you like
Um,
from Shador?
the one, yeah, of course. The one thing I loved about Shedeur is that he came ready. He came ready to play. Shedeur has like an odd physique. He's shaped odd to me because he's lanky. I don't know. I'll leave that alone. But he
Thank
was
you, thank
standing
you.
straight up. It's body no body. I say that for a reason, Kai. That I look at things. I'm like a visual, kinesthetic. I'm a kinesthetic learner. So
Uh-huh.
I'm looking at him and he's erect, he's attentive. I'm
Pause.
always looking at that. He's not
Right? I'm like a
always
wreck. Oh my goodness.
I tell you,
Your
girl.
choice of
Woo,
words. Your choice of words. Go
well,
ahead.
anyway. Anyway. Um she be making me like a cold snitch.
Well,
Woo!
no, Notty said it
But
too. He was like, "Pause," like.
no, but
That's
I
how I
always
got
use
you,
that
man.
word.
I got you.
You got me, man. It's
I
all right,
got you.
man. It is what it is, bro. She get on my nerve. But yeah, but I
You
when I look
said
at him,
it.
he's not like a little. I know you're just making me laugh. That's all. He's not like a little kid. Like sometimes when you see a quarterback and they're like kind of befuddled, they're always looking over at the line. They're always trying to listen in and say, like, all right, what's going on next? It looked like he was like well in control. And not only
Mhm.
that, when he dropped back, he seemed like he knew where he wanted to go. And if he couldn't get there, he made sure he moved or he waited until he could throw the ball where it needs to go. So basically what I'm trying to say is that I just seen somebody who was locked in and ready for that moment. And just like
Mhm.
he had said himself, even though I don't practice with the first squad, you know what I mean? He said, but just imagine if I did. So it looked like he
Mm-hmm.
just took the time
It
or
can get
whatever extra
dangerous. He
time he
says
needed.
it can get dangerous. What he
It's
said.
gonna get dangerous, boy. Woo! White folk get mad when black folks start talking for real because they hate for us to have confidence, man. Lord have mercy, they're so scary. But it just was a beautiful thing to see Shedeur confident in himself and basically willing to do whatever he had to do to make sure that his team won, even after the pick and everything. He still played with great confidence, and that's what I look for in a leader. And so that's my assessment of Shedeur. I think he did a great job.
Hold on real quick before you go, Notty. Nasir, I knew Nasir was gonna come with some foolery. Yeah, let's talk about your boy acting like a victim during post game conference. Well, how was he a victim?
Who is he
I,
talking
I
about? AJ Brown or who?
I think no, he's
No,
talking about
he's talking
Shador,
about
I believe.
Shedeur.
He's
Yeah.
talking
Oh,
about Shador.
okay.
Nasir. He always dropped the comments about Shador. I didn't get victim. I think he spoke his truth. People that do want to see him fail, people that do want to see him
Mm-hmm.
win. There's people on both sides of it. You go through the comments, you hear even
Yeah.
on television, podcast, radio, whatever it is, the comments are very much divided. Either you want to see him win, or you like, you know what, he can't win. I think he's not good. So that's real. But he also said, like it's not going to happen. I'm going to show up. I'm paraphrasing. I'm going to keep getting better. I'm going to keep growing. That doesn't sound like a victim to me. He said, he got to get better, obviously. Those are not victim things to me. But maybe, I'm missing something. Um, you want to say something,
Yeah,
Deep?
that's God said. Is that the God said
That, that's
dude? The
that's
God
Nasir, yes.
said,
Hmm. Yes.
Nasir. See, Nasir, the question I would ask you before I ask that, ask yourself this question: why do you always find yourself agreeing whatever that makes racists happy? Why do you find yourself always agreeing with whatever would make a racist happy? Ask yourself that question. Why do you
I
always
see
find
all,
yourself in that
I see all of
stalemate?
Nadi's teeth in the background. all of his all of his pearly whites.
I just,
Um, I'm gonna let Nadi go ahead. What you want
I,
to say,
I
Nadi, about
just, I just
Shador?
get tired of the race baiting and the false narratives. Every quarterback in the league, who's every quarterback in the league, somebody hates him, somebody don't like. Somebody want to see him win, somebody want to see him lose. That's just football,
Hold
you
on, yeah.
know.
Before we go down the whole rabbit hole of racism, what did you like about what you saw from Shador? What didn't you like?
I like
Into the rabbit hole.
the things I
Yeah,
like
please.
about it. The things I like about Shedeur is the things that I liked about him coming out of Colorado. He's confident. I believe that he's a natural born leader.
Hmm.
Mm,
And he went out on the field. Did he play great? No, he didn't play great. Did he play bad? No, he didn't play bad. But he commanded the huddle. And
mhm,
that's the first thing you have to do as an NFL quarterback. You have to command the huddle. You have to have your teammates around you believe that we can win with me.
Hmm.
mhm,
I'm the guy. So I
I'm
really
what they've
like
been
that.
waiting for. Ain't that what he said? I'm what they've been waiting
Yeah,
for, right?
yeah. And I like that. I like that bravado. I like that he's confident, and the rest of the team can feed off that, especially the offense. They can
mhm,
feed off him being confident, and so that was what I liked about Shedeur yesterday. Not too much about
mhm,
what he did in the game. I mean, he had one great throw that was next level. The throw where he rolled out and he threw it deep to Isaiah Bun down the field. That was next level. But other than that,
mhm.
everything else was, it was okay.
Yeah.
For me, just piggyback on something you said, I like Shador's confidence. I like that. Usually, like he has a habit of he wears his emotions on his sleeve, and you can always tell like when he's like mad about something or he didn't do something the way he wanted to do it because he's like he wears it. He's holding his head. He's heads in his lap. His face is bent up. You can tell he gets really really frustrated and down on himself. And sometimes that could overshadow his play in the game, like it's a little bit did in the preseason and also last week when he came in that second half. This week, I thought he did a really good job of staying poised, staying composed. Um, like the Billy said, after he threw that pick, he threw it, he didn't dwell on it. He came back out there, and got right back into playing like it didn't happen. And I was proud of that kind of showing that, seeing that kind of maturity from him, because before, like I said, I hadn't seen it, in the past. Um, I like that he said what he said before he won, on what they've been looking for. Because you can say whatever you want to say after you win a game, but to
Mhm,
say that before, the game and then go out there. And again, he didn't have a full week of reps. You know what I mean? Let's not act like, he was out there practicing with the ones for 14 days straight. He didn't really start getting his reps until I
Mhm.
believe Wednesday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then obviously they're playing on Sunday. So I'm happy. Was it the best ever, of rookie performance? No, I'm not saying that. But I think he did well enough to be able to play again this week. And it was announced earlier. Kevin Stefanski announced that Shedeur is going to be a starting QB against the Niners, though. So it's not going to be this, everybody's like, oh, against the Raiders. The Raiders suck. It's like a JV
Right.
team. I saw all kinds of comments. It's still an NFL team. They're not the best NFL team, but they're still professionals out there to play, and they're still talented men. So you still got to go out there. You still got to beat them. What
Mhm.
I want to ask you, Notty, because I want to hear what you have to say about this. Why isn't on a first and goal? I believe it happened twice. Why would
Hmm.
you take Shedeur out? I didn't see you do that with Dylan Gabriel. Unless I missed it. If I missed it, correct me. I don't mind being wrong. But I didn't see him do that with Dylan Gabriel. Why did you take him out? Because he could have easily turned around and handed the ball off to Quinshawn to run right in. But you took him out, and it's like you took away an opportunity for him to get the touchdown under his stats. Like why did he do that? 'Cause I don't
Probably
understand it.
probably because of what you just said. He only had you say Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Maybe they did a little walk through Sunday.
Hmm.
Saturday before the game. He only had a few days with the ones. It was his whole week. He got all the reps in practice. The backup didn't get any reps. He got all the reps, which was good. I think that's what they should do, and they're going to continue to give him all the
Hmm.
reps as he prepared for the 49ers this week. But
Hmm.
at the end of the day, Kevin Stefanski was trying to win the football game. And when you don't get as many reps as you would like 2 weeks, 3 weeks worth of reps, and you're down there in the red zone. We saw this today with Bryce Young. You get down in the red zone and you throw it to the other team. When they probably should have just handed it off to Rico Dowdle 2 or 3 times and let him score. Because it's tough to score down there, especially when you don't have the reps and you don't have the chemistry with your wide receivers. And let's be honest, and I've been trying to tell this people this the whole season if they would just listen to me, because I've been watching these games. Jerry
Mhm.
Jeudy is not good.
Mhm.
Steve Smith came on like national television and told everybody years ago, this guy is not good. He's not a good wide receiver.
I'm listening. I can
Said
see.
they don't have good wide receivers in Cleveland. So I think Kevin Stefanski had a great idea. I always say, when you don't have a quarterback, just run the Wildcat. And it worked. Keyshawn Jenkins is one-on-one at that point with a linebacker who's got to come through a lineman. Go ahead. He was 2 for 2. So I can't knock a coach for going out there and being perfect on the play call. It was a great play call. I have no gripe in why he took Shedeur out to possibly make a mistake. It's NFL football is tough. Even though they played the worst team in the league, sometimes I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, man, I wonder who will win the football game between the Las Vegas Raiders and the UNLV Rebels. Like, man, I don't know. That'll be a good game. But
Um,
yeah, I have no gripe with Kevin Stefanski pulling him and running that play, because he was 2 for 2. And they scored 2 touchdowns, and that ultimately helped them win the football game. So I just think it was great play calling. Don't put your rookie quarterback in harm's way, because if Shedeur
how
decides
would
to
he have
pull
been
it
in
down,
harm's way? He could have.
let's say
He could have.
let's say
He could have turned
let's
around and handed the ball
yeah,
off
he
and
could, and then
still ran it in.
it's the same difference if he handed off to him and he run the same play, but you got a better chance of just running the wildcat right there, because now you're playing 11-on-11 football instead of 10-on-11 football. The numbers just add up better if you just, because he could have passed. He could have let Shedeur just pass it right there, but now if he throw a pick, now we all sitting here talking about he throwing interceptions in the red zone. Protect your young quarterback. That's one thing I like about Stefanski, what he's done with Dylan and Shedeur. He did a great job of protecting his young quarterback, keeping him the best he can, keeping him out of harm's way, and allowing him to succeed and look good. And for that purpose, you have no choice but to go ahead and let him play against the San Francisco 49ers this week, because you got to really see, because those fans want to see Shedeur. Shedeur won that game.
Mhm.
He didn't win that game. He was the starting quarterback of a game that they won, and he didn't play terrible. So now let me see what he can do against the San Francisco 49ers. And that's going to be a good test for him. And he's going to have a whole nother week of practice. And man, I think he can go out there and play good against the 49ers. I really do. I don't know if they can win the football game because the team ain't good all around, but I think he can go and perform well with another week of having all the reps in practice, and Kevin Stefanski just protect him as much as he can.
What do you think? What do you think, Brother D?
Yeah, I'm just
about him taking him out in that moment.
Yeah. I think yeah. It just gets me like when I see Stefanski and I see behavior. If you keep if you're walking ahead of me and you don't hold the door behind you or just like hold it open, you just let it keep closing in my face every time I'm behind you, and all of a sudden it's week going into week 12 and you're doing the same thing to me. Why would I think that you had any goodwill towards me? And it just gets me when I see people, they say, well, he didn't really mean. I'm like, well, when do they mean it? When do they mean you any good? This man has been trying to set Shedeur up since the giddy up, and we've seen it time after time again. Things he said, things he did, how being evasive with his wording and the post game or pre game. It doesn't matter. We've seen it time and time again. And the reason why he did it is because he doesn't want to add anything he can detract or not detract, but he can not add to Shedeur's legacy or what he's going to do right now to build his equity as a quarterback going forward. He will do. Mm-hmm. We already seen it and we know it. Why deny it if it's right in front of you? See, people like that is dangerous to me, and I'm not talking about you, Notty. I'm just talking in general. You know what I mean? It's kind of dangerous to be like that, because I'm sitting there going, well, if I seen you spit in my face and I can feel the spit in my face, and my buddy's sitting here, he go, man, she ain't say that, man. I just think it was raining, and and he was talking at the same time. No, he spit in my face.
Come on now, she is going on.
What do you? What do you want me to? What do you want me to say? It just makes me sound like, yo, who am I riding shotgun with? Do I got a coward next to me? Or you? At least just stand up and go, you know what, man, that ain't right. But we just want to keep the peace, man. When niggas start talking, I'm sorry. When Negroes start talking like that, I get scared because I'm like, yo, you about to.
So my question to you is about Kevin Stefanski specifically with that call. So you're saying you think he did it because he doesn't want to see Shedeur win.
That's the nuance of it all. Yeah, he doesn't want to see Shedeur succeed. When we seen him do it to Colin Kaepernick, we seen him do it to Shedeur, we seen him do it to Ryan Howard, we seen him do it to Allen Iverson. Why do you guys?
Okay, hold on. Let's stay with Shedeur and Kevin Stefanski. No,
I know, but
I don't want to go someplace else. Yeah.
No, okay. I'm not going nowhere. I'm landing.
You kind of went someplace. You brought Colin Kaepernick in the conversation. It's a whole other time.
We're talking about people who are all affected by the transatlantic slave trade. Okay, so that's what
No. I wasn't talking about that. I asked you what you thought about Kevin Stefanski pulling him out at the first and goal. That's what I asked you.
At least we didn't go to Bethlehem, so we good.
But when I
want to play, I'm going to play this soundbite. Okay.
No, go ahead. I want to play
it. Play this soundbite. Because I for me, and I know Notty always says, "Oh, Kevin Stefanski, he's this, he's that," but to me, I was like, I found this once again a bit odd, and I was like, okay, really?
How about that road win? Stayed resilient together, like I told you we needed to, right? Stay resilient together, and we fought together. How about Gage's big punt return on special teams? Every single time you're out there pinning those guys doing your job. Great. Offense wasn't perfect. How about that big play by Sam at the end? RB, huge play. Harold making a big play, and then another rookie making his first start. Nice job, Shedeur. Well done. There's that old saying, save the best for last. How about that f***ing defense? Hell yeah. Is what I have to say about that. Tag! 10 sacks by our defense. Okay? I got one ball in my hand. Okay, I got a guy, he's got to get a cold every week. Okay, he had a cold this week. Wasn't feeling himself. 3 sacks, which gives him 18 on the season through 11 games, which breaks his own Browns record. Myles Garrett. Come on, man.
All right, so obviously I watched the post game interview. I watched this, the locker room. I really feel like for me, there's something's there. Now, you may I know I don't I haven't really followed Kevin Stefanski in terms of how he interacts with black QBs or his his all the black people on his football teams. For me to say, you know what, I think he's a racist. I do not believe for 1 second though that he likes Shedeur. I don't think so. Now, I don't know why that is, but to me, I listened and I watched the body language more than one time. But if we're just focusing on this game, right? And in the post game, you're in the locker room, you're hyping up the team, and I get the defense obviously was the star of the show. But before you gave the kudos to the offense, you had to highlight that it wasn't perfect. We know that. Like he's a rookie QB. He knows he wasn't perfect. He's not an idiot. No, Jerry knows that he dropped that pass that could have been a touchdown. He knows that he has some improvements to make. I mean, this is common sense. But you have a moment as a coach to say, you know what, Shedeur, you came in, it was your first, NFL win, your first start, on a week where, you had short reps or whatever it is. Shout out to you, Shedeur. Congratulations on your first win. It really sound like you actually mean it. To me, it's kind of like, oh yeah, shout out to our first. No, we got another rookie making a start. Great job, Shedeur. And then when you're talking about everybody else, you're like, how about this? And how about that? And you just have so much life and energy behind it. And if you look at Shadeur's face, right, I really feel like you could have given him the game ball. I'm saying the same thing for Dylan Gabriel if he, in his first NFL win, because these are their first NFL wins. Myles Garrett is Myles Garrett. Like I think he's going to break the record maybe next game. Dare I say the game after that in terms of how many sacks he gets in the season. I believe it's going to happen in the next 2 games. So that obviously that game ball could go to him as well. But for me, it wouldn't have taken anything away from Myles Garrett in this specific game if you would have given the game ball to Shedeur. And if it was Dylan Gabriel's first win as a rookie, I would say the same thing. Like you don't get those moments back. Like I don't think it would have taken anything away. And for me, I'm just like, it just really seems like he goes out of his way sometimes to not acknowledge Shedeur, not say his name. And whether or not, I know, Notty, how you feel about Kevin Stefanski, whether or not you want to admit it, there is something there. I do not know what it is, but there is something there when it comes to him and Shedeur that he just does not mess with. And I'm okay if his, Dylan was his pick and he wants, Dylan to be, the starting QB for the foreseeable future, no problem. But dude, like encourage this young man, build him up as a coach, build your rookie QBs up. You know what I mean? If you look at Shadeur's face in the background, he looks a little bit like, damn, like what more do I have to do, to get a little bit more recognition or respect from this head coach, like, and that could be when his dad is his dad, right? So you're not going to break his confidence altogether. But a lot of times when you see rookie QBs go to certain situations and you have a coach who may be a good coach, not a good coach for them, it messes with their confidence. I think about Zach Wilson, right? Think about how he came into the NFL. Look at where he went. I'm like, they ruined him. Confidence is shot. I don't think he'll ever be the same again. I really don't think so. I think maybe Justin Fields had to win someplace else outside of Chicago. He might be a different QB today, but we can't go back in time. I just really, at this point, I'm like, dude, what is your issue when it comes to Shedeur? And you can't tell me you have no issue with him at all because there's something there. And we've seen it too many times in the body language, the refusing to say him, call him by name, like the way you interact with him. It's just something's there. I don't know what it is. I'm gonna let you hit the floor now to go ahead.
Yeah, this is wild to me. That this is like one of the biggest reaches I've ever heard in my life. It just doesn't compute with me. It just doesn't make any sense for me. And for people to be calling Kevin Stefanski a racist,
what's the reach?
I just think, I mean, all of it. People calling Kevin Stefanski a racist. I'm like, this is like
he is.
let's call people racist who clearly display their races. Don't call a guy a racist when just last year he had 4 quarterbacks, all black, play quarterback for his football team. This
That's
year,
because this is this is a black league. Let's just call it what
but
it
not
is.
at the quarterback position.
There's more black players than there are white
Yeah, but
players.
not at the
So he could
quarterback
two things
position.
can be true. I
Yeah,
don't know
but
if he's
there,
racist. I'm not saying that he is, but just because he's surrounded by black players doesn't mean that he has to like them. That doesn't mean that he can't be racist.
we're not talking about black players. We're talking about black quarterbacks.
And I said, but a quarterback is still a player, no? So
Quarterbacks,
what I'm saying is
but
he can very much still be racist. I'm not saying that he is, but that can still be a possibility. It's because he has black quarterbacks doesn't mean that he's not racist, so he can't be.
nothing about Kevin Stefanski says to me that he's a racist. Nothing. And this was like one of the biggest reaches in the world. Even Shedeur, after the post game, I watched a post game interview with him on the field. Even he said, you know, I played all right. There's a lot of things I like to get back. I could have played better. Okay, he even knows that. That's one thing I like about Shedeur. He keeps it real about how
As
he
I
believes.
said, he acknowledged that.
So Kevin Stefanski acknowledged the same thing that he acknowledged. He went in the locker room. First of all, they hadn't won in like 4 or 5 weeks.
Since October, I think 19,
right.
something like that.
So he was ecstatic about the win. He goes in there. There's a lot of guys played well in that game. Of course, they were playing the Raiders, so a lot of guys were going to play well. He acknowledged all those guys. The offense wasn't perfect, but this kid made his first start and he got a win and he young and he played. Shout out to Shedeur. Said his name and everything. Game ball? No, you don't. I'm pretty sure Shedeur didn't want no game ball in that situation because when you
don't think he would have won that for his first win?
Because not the Shedeur that I believe in, not legendary. When you're a quarterback and you're a competitor the way Shedeur won, I want the game ball, the game that I go 23 or 25, throw for 340 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's when I can't get the game ball and I only completed 55% of my passes. I threw a touchdown, but it really was a 0-yard pass that the running back ran for 66 yards, and I threw a pick. I didn't play great. I didn't play terrible. I gave our team a chance to win at the end of the day, and we did win, but we won because the defense had 10 sacks. Myles Garrett had 3 sacks. Myles Garrett deserved the game ball because Myles Garrett he has 18 sacks so far.
He's the best player on that team. He's always going to deserve it.
Myles Garrett is the best defensive player in all of football. I told you this last week. He's the best defensive player in all of football.
So if that's the case, then he should always get the game ball every week.
Yeah, but
if we're going by that, because he is the best player.
Yeah, but like he was saying, this is the first. He broke his own record yesterday. He broke his own record of 17 sacks was the most records. I mean, the most sacks that he's had in the season. Yesterday, he went over the 18 sacks mark. And he had a 3-sack game, and he led a defense that had 10 sacks. That defense won the game yesterday. Shedeur didn't win that football game. He didn't lose it, but he didn't win it. That defense won that football game yesterday. So I'm totally okay with Kevin Stefanski getting the game ball to the best player on the field yesterday, and it was undoubtedly Myles Garrett. So this whole he don't like Shedeur because he ain't giving the game ball. That's just when you just want to hate somebody, so you got to find something to say about them. That's all that is to me. There's nothing here that tells me that because he didn't get a game ball to Shedeur and he gave it to a more deserving guy, that now he don't like Shedeur. No, Shedeur wouldn't even want a game ball right there because he didn't play game ball worthy. Game ball worthy is 23 or 25, 340 yards, 3 touchdowns. That's
hold on.
Worthy.
Hold on. So let's be very, very clear. Yeah, thank you. I was going to say that. Like, I didn't say anything in what I said. Just because
he gave Shedeur a shout out. He gave him credit for playing well yesterday.
I look at it's not for me what you say, it's how you say it. It's not what you do, but it's how you do it. Those things very much matter.
And when
no, that's not what I said. Please, don't put words in my mouth because I didn't say that. I don't do that to you. No, you made a statement. You didn't ask a question.
Yeah,
I did not say anything about him. I didn't say anything about him kissing his ass. I never said I had to do that. I said it would have been nice as a coach to give the same energy to Shedeur that you gave the rest of the team when you were highlighting how they performed in the game. This is still his first NFL game. So you have to get down on your knees. Let me be all the way, just raw since we want to go there. Does he have to get down on his fucking knees and be like, oh my gosh, Shedeur, you are the best QB ever that I've ever seen, ever come across. You had your first win. You're so fucking awesome. No, didn't say that. But it's not the first time that the tone and the energy when he addresses Shedeur or just says, when they ask him a question, even like when they do the post game interviews, and they'll ask a question about Shedeur, he'll always generalize it. And how is Shedeur doing in practice this week? I'm just giving a random question out there. Is he making strides, to becoming a starter or, getting some more reps? As opposed to addressing the question I was asked about Shedeur, it'll be generalized. Well, all of our rookies are doing really well.
Yes.
Everybody's doing great. But the
That's how
question
a
was
head
about
coach supposed
but
to
the
do it.
question is about Shedeur.
As any
And when
head
it
coach.
comes to other people, when I'm talking head coach, I'm talking about him because I've seen other head
Yes, I'm
coaches
saying
address the
he
question that
falls
has
to
been asked.
he falls the
I've seen
status
other.
quo of
I've
any
seen
head
other.
coach
I've seen.
when asked about third
I'm talking
string.
about him, and I watched a lot of
Yes.
interviews. I don't just watch his.
Yeah, we
So
don't
when
say
I
the
see
names of
other
third round,
coaches,
third string quarterbacks. We
when
don't
I
say
see
those
other
names.
coaches do it, there's no reason why he can't do it.
There's no
Now I
other
don't
coach
know
that
what
has
it
ever
is
been
with
asked about a third
you
string
because you
quarterback.
seem to have these blinders on where it's like Kevin Stefanski because he's a talented coach, and I'm not saying that he's not, two-time coach of the year. You can't take away what he's accomplished in his resume. I'm not doing that either. But for some reason, you seem to have these blinders on where it's like beyond the realm possibility
Yeah,
that he does not like Shedeur.
it's a
I
lot
think
of
it's
reaching.
pretty obvious that there's something there. For some reason, you don't want to admit it. I don't know why. That's between you and your own personality.
No, that
But it's
something
pretty
is there.
obvious the way that he addresses him or doesn't address him
Right.
that there's something there. And it's not because
Yes.
he's a third or fourth round or fifth round, because when he speaks about Dylan Gabriel, he'll still address him as a person. As a
Yes,
coach,
he's
he's
a
still a
starter.
professional. I've heard he's still third round. You brought up rounds just
Yeah, but
now.
he's
You brought
starting
up the rounds.
third
So
string. Second, third
even
string.
before he was the starter, and you had Joe Flacco, and you had Kenny Pickett there, and then it was Dylan Gabriel, and then Shedeur, and then I forgot who else was after that. But for a short time before he left, he still addressed Dylan. So when someone is asking you a question about how Shedeur is doing, because they want to know how he's doing, whether or not you like the question is being asked. How is Shedeur doing? Is he making strides or whatever have you? And you go out of your way every single time
Right.
to
I would do the
generalize the
same thing.
question. When I'm talking about you, I'm talking about him as a head coach.
Yeah, that's
So
what
there's
head
no
coach is
reason
supposed to
why,
do.
and I'm not all. I'm talking about Kevin Stefanski, and
That's
please
what
don't
he's
talk like I
supposed to
don't
do.
watch interviews with other
I
coaches
mean,
because
I
I
do
watch
though.
a
I watch
lot of
interviews.
sport. So
I
we
do.
both do. So we both do that. Okay, cool. So when I see other coaches acknowledge a player by name, and I see
Right.
one coach who does not want to do it, but I've seen other coaches do it who are also coaches and head coaches in the NFL, it's alarming. Now, if none of them did it, I'm like, okay, they don't do it. None of them do it. Then it is what it is. That's the protocol. None of them do it. Okay, you got me. But when I see other coaches do it, I'm like, what is this here? Now, in terms of the game ball, right? I didn't say no. Miles Garrett didn't deserve it, but it was also Shadeur's first start as well. Now, I don't know if Shadeur's face, you can say you don't think Shedeur wanted the game ball. I don't know him personally, so I can't say that he did or didn't. I'm looking at his body language. I
Yeah.
forgot who the player was next to
I
him.
say I
When
hope
he
he
was
didn't
giving
want it.
when he was getting ready to give out, maybe he didn't. But
Yeah,
I'm
not
looking at
off
his
that
body
performance. You
language,
don't want a game
right?
ball after that.
When I'm looking at his body language, when he was, about to go out the game ball and he gave it to Miles Garrett. Of course he clapped, you know what I mean? He's gonna clap and for his teammates. But the body language looked like, damn, like I wish I would have got a little bit more acknowledgement, you know what I mean? And maybe I'm just reading more into it, but body language, I always look at body
Play
language
better.
speaks, y'all. You
Yeah,
don't have
play
to
better.
always say something. You don't have to always say something for us to know how you feel. You know
Yeah,
what I
play
mean? Like
better.
how you feel wears on your face. You know what I mean?
Play
So
better, you get a game
he could
ball.
have he could have felt like, man, I wish I would have played better enough to get the game
Right.
ball. Or
Right.
maybe he felt like, dang, I wish the coach would have acknowledged me a little bit differently. I don't know him, so I don't know
Right.
how he feels. I'm just judging based off what I saw and his body language and how he looked. Yes, Miles Garrett is the best player, so pretty much every single week you can make a case for him to get that game ball if that's the case. But for the fact that Shedeur came in and was the first out of 17 to win the first game, the first out of 17, I'm going to give him some credit there because he could have easily lost the game just as much. And if he had lost it, it would have been like, see, I know Shedeur wasn't good. This, that, and the third. The defense is the best part of the team, and there would have been a whole bunch of stuff about Shedeur not being ready and not being good. But he won the. He didn't win the game. The team won the game. The defense would obviously whatever have you. You know what I mean? But
Okay.
for him to be the first one out of 17, like we're just going to skate over that out of
Yes.
17 different QBs,
Yes.
I'm not going to do it. Now, maybe
I
you
am.
will, and you're
Yeah.
entitled
Yeah.
to
I
that,
am.
but I'm not
I'll
going
do
to go
that.
over that. And to
Yeah.
Bud D's point, I don't like when we're unwilling to be open-minded enough to see that there could be something else going on behind the scenes other than
There
what we
could be,
want to
but we have
see.
no proof, no solid
I didn't
proof.
say we
Everything
have
is
proof. I said I don't
everything is
like the
speculation.
unwillingness to be able to say, you know what, there is a possibility that something else could be going on.
Yeah.
I'm not calling him racist. I said I haven't
Right.
seen enough of him to call him racist.
Okay.
But there is something there. I said that when I first said my piece. I'm reiterating it because it's like you missed that part of the
But
conversation.
we know there's
So
something
like
there.
yeah. So
We've talked about
but when
this.
I hear you speak, you act as if it's
I've
beyond
never denied
possibility
that. Now,
that he
I've
don't.
never did.
When it
No.
comes to Kevin Stefanski and Shedeur, you make it seem like no, he has an issue with Shedeur.
No,
He's
I
just being
told
the
you
head
there
coach.
is something. Yes, there is something there. I keep telling you this. You just don't want to listen to what I'm trying to tell you. There is something there. The thing that's there is Dylan Gabriel is his guy. Shedeur is not his guy. That's one thing. That's just fact. That's just off the top. We got to accept that. Dylan Gabriel is his guy.
And I'm fine with that.
Now, Barry is Shedeur guy because I seen Barry do something yesterday that we didn't see him do with Dylan Gabriel. He didn't come in the locker room and Dylan Gabriel first game, hug him
You're
up and
right.
show him all the love. He did that for his. So now I'm not finna say, man, Barry, man, he got something against Dylan Gabriel. He must not like Mexican quarterbacks, or he must. No, that's his guy. I get it. I'm okay with somebody being your guy. Now, when it comes to Kevin Stefanski addressing a third string quarterback who was also a fifth round quarterback, there's nothing. You can't name me another coach in the whole NFL who's been asked about a third string quarterback or even addressed a third string quarterback by name in his press conference. Unfortunately for Kevin Stefanski, because Shedeur is a hot stove that you have to touch and get your hands burnt. People are asking him questions about a third string quarterback, and he just don't got time for that. I just don't. But soon as Shedeur stepped in as the starter, he's primarily been addressing him by his name. Every time he comes to the press conference now, Shedeur, because now he matters. He's the starting quarterback now. Now he matters. But when he was the third string quarterback, I'm sorry, Shedeur, I love you like everybody else, but you don't matter. And I'm not finna waste no time in the media bringing the distraction to my team because I'm talking about Shedeur when I'm trying to get this other quarterback ready. I can't have that rift in my locker room. So I'm not gonna say your name. I'm sticking with Dylan right now. I'm only gonna talk about Dylan and guys who are out there contributing to winning. Okay, if once Dylan is out the picture and you're up, now it's Shedeur, because now you matter. And that's just how football go. I hate that I have to be the harbinger of bad news, but that's how professional NFL football coaches think. And this is nothing new. It's just this is the first time we've seen a head coach bombarded with questions about a guy who's the third string quarterback who was a fifth rounder. You can never tell me another situation where it ever happened before. So this is an outlier.
What you want to say?
No, I just want to say, in regards to Stefanski, so let's just all be adults, because we do the football thing. I know how I go. It's basically if you're this, I don't know your name. We do that stuff to break people's spirit in order to get them in subjection and keep them all your ducks in a row. But let's just get it all straight. This guy was well aware of all the hot news and everything that was going on with Shedeur, he still mentioned Shedeur as if he was just like a guy who picked up a ball after a running back fumbled it. That's how he mentioned him in the lineup of things. So when you know all these things are coming down on this young man and people are constantly scrutinizing him and his name is always up, and reporters are talking about him, and you are his overseer, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to protect your player. But what did he decide to do? No, I don't want to make him feel special in this moment, knowing that he's probably going to be my starting QB going forward. I'm not going to do that. When you know what I'm going to do, I'm going to make him feel like he's less than. I'm gonna put it out there. Oh yeah, Shedeur. Oh yeah, like it's like a by the way type thing. It's like, you see your friend walking down the street and they pass you. Yo, what's up? And you just keep going. No, you won't stop. You're gonna dap your friend up. You're gonna give him a hug. But what did he do? He decided, knowing how the media is going to take it, he decided to say, hey, I'd rather do it like this, knowing that the media is going to take that and eat it up. All he had to do was acknowledge him a little bit more and to say, hey, this guy, first time coming in, he's been under a lot of scrutiny. It's okay to say stuff like that. Why? Because it's true and it's there. And for the coach to be supposedly, this great coach, this great leader of men, we all know how those things go with men. Shedeur done been trampled on enough. You keep on act like he needs a little bit more breaking. Oh, he doesn't mean that. And the reason why people feel like Shedeur can take the breaking and he can take all that stuff is because he's black, and no one has they have no problem. Oh yes, and they have no problem.
He's black.
Yes, but yeah, that's why people do what they do.
No.
Lord have mercy. That's why people handle things the way they do. That's why people stand on people's necks, because they feel like they can take it. They don't. When you go down the list of people who are being mistreated and abused, why do people do it? They feel like why? Why do they feel like I can hit you at my peak of my anger? Why do I feel like I can do that to you? Why do I feel like I can stand on your neck in front of on nationwide TV and nothing's going to happen to me? Why? Why do I feel that way? Because I know I'm protected by the law, and I know that people don't look at you as human. They look at you as less than human. So
that's wild. That's beyond me. You comparing him to George Floyd now? That's beyond me.
That's the effect.
Yeah. Hold on, because I want to make sure we keep it about. I want to keep it about Kevin Stefanski and Shedeur. I don't want to go outside to police brutality and everything else. So back to Kevin Stefanski and Shedeur.
But I'm talking about mindsets.
So then let's just keep it with Kevin Stefanski's mindset. I don't want to introduce other stuff.
How he looked at Shedeur. That's why he has no problem with pissing on him in front of everybody. Even though he said, I don't want all this flack in my room about Shedeur, but yet he's going to do something known that's going to trigger the media. You know why? Because once again, if I can take one more shot at him, I will. If I'm not going to let him score from the goal line, I'm not. I'm going to do everything I can still, even to make it look like, oh, we all out here just trying to win. No, what he was trying to do is same thing they did with Marshawn Lynch. You're not running that ball in, boy. I'm going to throw it in. And you know what? He got cooked. And
black quarterback threw it in, right?
Huh?
The black quarterback threw it, right?
But who would throw a ball in?
But the black quarterback threw it, though. But the black quarterback threw it
in.
And Russ, we trust.
Russ is a robot.
Get it done. Tell him, Katja, and Russ we trust.
And Russ we trust. Yes, very much so. Always.
Thank you.
First
of all, let me just say this. No NFL coach, definitely anyone that's worth a damn, none of them give a damn about the media. None of them. They could care less what the media thinks. The media has no influence on what goes on in the football locker room and the team. As far as the head coach is concerned.
Hold on.
You just said that. Oh, we don't want all this stuff in our locker room. We don't want all this flack, nigga. If I don't care, I don't care. Right?
I was about to ask that question.
Right?
Because you did say a second ago, like Shedeur is a hot stove, so on and so forth.
Right. That's why he doesn't. And because he doesn't care about the media, he don't even want to answer that question.
But the fact of the matter is that he has to, because Shedeur is there on that team.
It
So
reminds
for
me of Bill
me,
Belichick.
so for me, be professional. You don't.
It
I don't
remind
care if you don't like Shedeur. I don't
it
care if
reminds
Dylan
me of
Gabriel
Bill
is his
Belichick.
guy. He can be. I'm not
Yes,
talking about Bill. I'm talking about Kevin
I know,
Stefanski.
but I'm just giving you an
So
example of how head coaches don't care. Go
if
ahead.
you are professional, you're still paid to do a job. You're still a head coach. They
Yes.
want to ask about Shador, whether or
Okay.
not you like it, whether or
I don't
not
want
you
to
want to
answer
talk
Shedeur.
about it. Like they're asking questions,
Right.
so you do have to answer. It's not as if he's not answering the question.
Yes.
It's just that every time they ask you about him, you rather
Yes.
go around the whole
Yes.
question, but you're throwing more flames to the fire.
Yes.
So as a common sense is, because Kevin Stefanski's not an idiot. If you just addressed it and moved past it, maybe they wouldn't keep
There is
asking
no
you the
moving past.
same thing over and over and over. But when people notice that you're going above
Yes.
and beyond to go
Right.
around something,
Right.
as opposed to just going right through it, it's like
Right.
you feed the beast more because now I want to
Yeah.
know what's going on. Now I want to
Yeah.
ask more questions. Like, why is it he's doing this? Why is he doing that? Hold on, coach. I have another question. Hold on, coach. Let me go back to what you said about your door. They're gonna keep asking questions now, so you're
Yes.
not getting away from it and focusing on Dylan and the rest of the team. Instead, you're being asked more and more questions about Shador, and that's
Yes.
obvious when you watch the post game interviews or the interviews that happen the next day
Right.
after they win or lose a game, like before they go into the new week. So if I notice it from watching interviews, you've been around this pretty much your whole life. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
That's what
So
I'm trying
you
to
know
tell
how
you.
the media works.
Right.
So when you see that they keep asking you the same questions about a young man, and instead of you just addressing it and moving forward, you keep trying to go around it and you're making them inquire more.
Yeah.
Answer the freaking question and move past it and get back to Dylan if that's what your ultimate goal
Yeah.
is to
That's
move
answer the
past it.
question. But what he does, because head coaches don't give a damn about the media, but they just have to meet
I
an
don't think you can
obligation.
say that about every head coach.
Look,
I don't
look,
think you can say
I
that.
said any coach that's worth a damn. Any coach that's worth a damn don't give a damn about the media. That's why they understand they have to fulfill an obligation. You have to go talk to the media. That's just something you have to do.
Hmm.
But every now and then, because they know that the media is a bunch of assholes who trying to entertain the world, and they're gonna create whatever storyline or what narrative they want to, because
Yeah, but
at the
you're
end of the
doing it
day,
though. He's doing it. He's
yeah,
he's
I'm
he's
saying that
adding to it.
yes, that's fine. He's always gonna add to it, no matter what he says, because at the end of the day, sports is about storytelling.
If
And
he
so,
said Shador is working out, he's doing what I
yeah,
asked him
and
to
they still
do,
gonna ask him
and
about Shedeur
move
the next
past
week.
it,
They're gonna
like.
still ask him about
But when they ask you about Shador, and every
yeah,
single time they ask you, you're like, oh well, all the rookies are doing good. Oh well, all this is happening. Oh
right,
well, it's like
right,
we asked you about Shador, so now I'm going
yeah,
to
yeah,
ask you
yeah,
again, what about Shador? And if you don't
right,
answer it again, what about Shador?
and that's
Like it's going back to the same thing over and over.
and
So
that's my point.
logically, if you have common sense and your brain is functioning, and you want to get away from the hot stove,
You're not gonna get away from the
you're
hot
not going to
stove.
keep putting pans on top. You're not going to keep putting more oil on top of a hot stove because it's going to burn. It's going to smoke after a while. But you
Yeah,
keep
he's
doing
never
that.
gonna get rid of the hot stove. That it is Shadeur's on team. It's always gonna be a hot stove. Hot stove is a hot stove. You're not, no matter what you do. So at the end of the day, he
You don't have to keep putting empty
yeah.
pots on it.
At
When you
the
put an empty pot on it, you put oil in it, you turn the fire up, it's going to burn. It's
at
going to
the end
smoke.
of the day, the best NFL coach I ever seen, his famous line is, "We moving on to Cincinnati." like, I don't got time. Like y'all can ask whatever questions y'all want to ask. I don't feel like addressing this question. Like we're moving on to Cincinnati. Don't even ask me nothing about it. Tom Brady hurt his man. His thumb is all right. It's just so the man down there, the thumb came off his hand. He all right, man. Y'all stop like because I already know what y'all want to do. Y'all gonna create whatever story y'all gonna create. Go ahead and create the story. But I'm not
You
giving
don't
y'all
think
what y'all want.
You don't think Kevin Stefanski is helping to add to the story at all? You think he's
No, the media
just
does a good job of creating the whole man. The media has
you
done
don't? The
a
question is, you don't think he has any part in it at
Of
all? It's
course it
just the
does.
media.
Anybody that's a part of the game as a part of it because the media asked them questions. Even when Marshawn Lynch was like, I don't got no answer. That turned into something. Like
Hmm.
the media does a great job of, and I was a part of this, creating storylines and creating a narrative so that we can sell the game for the next week. It's all about selling the game to the fans, giving them something to talk about, and they can come out and say, well, he don't like Shador, or some people say, well, they're making a big deal out of it. Like it's just a story. At the end of the day, Like I said, name me another coach who had to answer questions about a third string quarterback. It's never happened. This is an outlier, and he just don't got time for it. And I understand that. But when he counts, when he's a starting quarterback, I'm gonna say his name every week. And I could have named Bailey Zappi the starter going into San Francisco. I could have named Bailey Zappi the starter going into the Oakland, the Vegas game. But I'm going with Shedeur. And Shedeur earned the right to go into San Francisco next week and play a football game, even though Dylan Gabriel is out of the concussion protocol, which he said when Dylan Gabriel was out of the concussion protocol, he would start. He didn't do that. He could have
I
went
don't
back
think
to
he
this.
made that decision personally. I don't think that
Right.
was his decision.
But like you told me, Kevin Stefanski got more say so in that building than you think.
I do believe he has more say. I do believe he has more say.
Yeah, and I told you this last week. I said pretty soon, maybe even this week, the decision on who's gonna be the starting quarterback won't even be in his hand.
You did say
at
that.
At the end of the day, he's the head coach. Yes, he get his input, but Barry is the general manager. He picks the groceries. And he got a lot of say so. And then the man who got all the say so is Jimmy Haslam. You can want to go with Dylan Gabriel all you want. If Jimmy Haslam and Barry say we're going with Shedeur, guess what you're gonna do, Stefanski? You're gonna go with Shedeur and you're gonna put him in the best position to succeed. And that's what you're gonna do. Or, we can go ahead and, give you that pink slip today. And we can have Tommy Reese be the interim head coach going forward. And we'll just find the head coach at the end of the season. It's no problem. There's no problem for Kevin Stefanski either, because if he get fired from Cleveland, he'll have another job tomorrow because he's that good of a coach.
Brother D, I'm gonna let you go ahead and close this out.
No, I just, just looking at Stefanski, I just the whole thing is that he is a leader of men, and people say, well, how did he have all these other quarterbacks and all these other players that look like X, Y, and Z, and how could he just pinpoint one person? And a lot of times when it's the bully syndrome, not syndrome, but it's complex. It's like, well, I'm gonna find the one I can beat, and I'm gonna use that one, and pretty much that's all that is. I'm not surprised by it. This is what this system does. This whole thing is a system. It's a system, and we've seen it for years. And I feel bad for Shedeur, because it's like what other player? Everybody come up, but he a third round rook. He a third string rook. Everybody rook. But everybody has his name in their mouth. But no one looks at him to say, have you ever looked at him and said, like, dag, isn't he tired of hearing all this? Isn't he tired of people like calling his name? We don't think of it, and the reason why we don't think of it like that, we just think, hey, that's just part of the game. It's because he's black. And we feel like he can take that pressure. We feel like he can take it because they built like that. They can take all of that. But if anybody else, oh, he's a good boy. No, Tom's a real good guy. We'll name something that they did that was really great. And they're like, no, I remember one time, I've seen him helping somebody change their tire, and we'll do all that for other people. But with us, it's just like, that's just part of the game, baby. No, it ain't just part of the game. No, it's not just part of the game. He's doing exactly what he's been doing. It's divide and conquer. He's gonna ostracize this young man. He's gonna do whatever he has to do in order to appease his racist wrath that's on the inside of him. And that's how it goes. I wonder
what we call it when it happens to white quarterbacks.
When they get beat up on?
Yeah, what we call it? Do we call it racism, or we just?
It
say,
could be.
Well,
it could be. I know some African Americans don't believe in racism, like in that sense, because they're saying you would have to be. Anyway, I'm not getting all that, but no, I think it doesn't make sense into it when it cross your door. When it cross your door, your DOOR, when it cross your door, that's when it's going to make sense. That's when you're going to see it, and that's when you're going to want to lock arms. And probably by the time that happens, it may be too late. So I'm just saying that's when it's going to happen. Yeah.
So what do we call it when it's a white quarterback that's being quote unquote treated unfairly? What do we call
Show
that?
me one. No.
Tim Tebow.
If it was, I will
Baker
call it racist.
Mayfield.
I will call it out. Listen, I'm the one. Listen, I felt like Dylan Gabriel still should have a chance to start because of he have the bigger body. No, listen, I'm just letting you know where
I feel what you're saying. I feel what you're saying though.
So that's all I'm saying. So it's not like I'm sitting over here going, oh yeah, Shedeur, he did all this. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, listen, this is what happened. I can't help because a lot of these people have the propensity of destroying everything everywhere they go. I mean, look through history, but we're not going through history. But I'm just saying, when you see it, you see it. But when you see the stamp of colonialism, it's in the mind, breaking people down bit by bit, dividing and conquering. When you see it in its full effect, when you see it in redlining, DEI, when you see it in bad prenatal care for Black women, when you see it, I'm just saying, don't act like football. It doesn't exist.
That's all I'm saying. Because you've been watching football a long time, like me. We've been watching football, and I'm pretty sure Katja been watching football
a very long time. Yeah,
but we go back to when we go back when they said black quarterbacks couldn't even black athletes couldn't even play the quarterback position. They weren't smart enough.
Let me ask you a question.
Now, hold on, wait. Now you're looking at 2025, where half of the starting quarterbacks in the NFL is black, and not only that, you got a ton of black quarterbacks that are the backups. We never seen black backup quarterbacks when we were coming up. That's an anomaly. You never seen it. So now we got the first. I mean, I can name a ton of quarterbacks who would never. No.
I'm with you with that. I'm with you. They when they said, hey, they made Warren Moon. They said you're gonna have to take your black behind over to another
play in the league. And he was the best quarterback in the world.
They put him in another country to play, right?
Yes.
So you went to Connecticut. So let me ask you this.
That's racism.
Let me ask you this. Yeah, exactly. Let me ask you this. Come on now. Come on. No. But walk with me. Walk with me with this.
Okay, let me walk with you.
Come on. Where did that mindset? This is a dinner table mindset. That means that this is shit we talk about at our dinner table. Right. Where did that mindset go? Did it just leave? Did it evaporate? Did it show up in other places? Did it show up in DEI? Did it show up in redlining? Let me ask you what, because the only reason black quarterbacks got a fair chance is because the linebackers got faster and they was tracking them down, and black folks start to ball out. Keep it where it is. Keep it a buck. Don't try to hold on to the walls. Keep it exactly where it is.Here did that mindset go?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you where it goes, because you know this is like I know this. Most of the
they had a collective meeting and said we would stop being racist.
Most of the racism in football starts at the top with the ownership.
Okay. Trickle down
when we were coming up, we didn't see. Not only did we not see black quarterbacks, we didn't see black head coaches. We didn't see black general managers.
Exactly.
Now we got black general managers. We got black head coaches. We got Magic Johnson in the ownership group of the Washington Commanders. We got Condoleezza Rice, a part of the ownership group with the Denver Broncos. We never seen these things before coming up. This is where that mindset changed. When you start putting black people in the seats at the top. That's when you start seeing the change.
Notty,
the Rooneys have done a great job of Pittsburgh Steelers.
Why?
You tell me why.
You know why? It's called legislation. It's called. Okay. That's the only reason. The Rooney Rule, The Rooney Rule had to open up. Listen.
Who controls legislation?
Listen. For one thing, affirmative action was in there, so the Rooney Rule had to do what? It parlayed into the league, right? So now we have that into effect. You cannot keep on having like 80% black players and you not address the fact that there's no black coaches. But yet we still see them fire. We still see them fire black coaches at a higher rate, faster.
Yes, you could. You know why you could? You know why you could still do that? Because no matter if they hire all white head coaches and all white general managers, black people, white people, all alike gonna show up for the NFL. This is why the NFL is number one in all of the country when it comes to sports.
Dude, let me ask you a question.
care.
Let me ask you a question. Wait. Oh, no. Let's keep it right here. Why 2020 and Trump's first year in, he got rid of what? He got rid of affirmative action, right?
Yes, that's a good thing. I'm glad he did
second
that.
right in. Then what did he get rid of? He gets rid of DEI, right? And this new
DEI,
administration.
white folks was benefiting off DEI, not us. We were number 6 on the list.
Listen, I know they are. I know they
understand. White women and white men were benefiting off DEI.
I know
more
they
than
are.
Any black person.
They benefited much more than us. I understand that. But this is what I'm talking about. But guess what? It closed up the door for us. Is still much more now. We're only 13% of the population, Notty. We're only 13%. White folks are over 60% of the population. So they're going to have a higher number in there anyway. So now let's go back to it and say, okay, why are these things why do black people are getting more hot, like get a couple of jobs in NFL? You still don't see them where? You still don't see them really in what? And
ownership. Yeah.
Ownership,
no, part of the ownership. Who's the top owner? I'm not talking about that silent partner crap. I'm not talking about I put in $100 million.
I'm talking about majority ownership. There are no black majority owners
in the
majority,
NFL.
Exactly.
There are no black majority owners in the Major League Baseball. There's only one black majority owner in the NBA.
And that's what I'm telling you. So the mindset has never left. All it did was it's found another way to keep you where they want you to keep, when they want to keep you. That's my whole point. So when I look at Shedeur and I see Kevin Savance and he goes, "Oh yeah, you too, Shedeur. Yeah. Guess what, guys? Yeah, pizza after work." It's like he almost like
it's funny.
He did that.
It's funny because
not pizza after work.
I don't know if you heard this, Brother D, and I don't know if you heard it, Katja, but I'm pretty sure you have. But I told you last week. I said after a while, these little tea leaves gonna start falling. This disconnect that we've been seeing in the Cleveland front office, like we don't have the story. But after a while, these little stories gonna start coming out.
You did say that.
After a year or two, they're gonna start coming out. And this week, last week, you start hearing these little stories coming out about what's going on inside of the franchise of the organization with Cleveland. And I just let it keep playing out. All the dots are gonna connect, and the story is gonna come out, and you're gonna get the full story from even Albert Breer, who's been covering football for damn near 30 years, maybe almost 40 years. Come out with the story that.
But Notty, see how you think about that so diplomatically, and you have so much faith in the system. You know when white folks,
I don't have any faith in the system. I have no faith in the system. I'm giving you how the system works.
Why? No,
I'm just telling you what's
they finally relinquish it.
Oh God!
Right? This is what they do. They make sure they squeeze it and they get all of it out. And they go, "Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you can do it," because they already got something else in plan over there, and that's how it goes. Remember, what do we operate under? Remember the big beautiful bill. 2035 was it? 2025. How everything's going to go down, and it's happening, right?
All we can go off is what's reported, right? Unless we in the room ourselves and we getting that information firsthand.
You see how you gave me something that was impossible. You gave me something that said, "Well, if we can just get to the room ourselves, Negro, you know we ain't getting to no damn room. We already know what's going on in the room because we already know. I already know your habits. I already know your ways. I already know what you're going to do. When you set up legislation, you're setting it up to do what? To take things away. That's why you see all this gentrification going on. You see your grandparents. That's why people got to move them with each other because they keep taking things away. Like, oh, we're going to do this now. We're going to rezone all these properties over here.
I feel you on that, but that ain't got nothing to do with football.
Let's focus back on the conversation. Let's bring it back. Let's bring the conversation back to football. Let's bring the conversation back to football.
I'm just talking about NFL football and what's going on in the league. We went back from when they didn't have any black quarterbacks in the league. When they said we were too dumb to play the position. So now,
but when you knew that was a lie then.
I knew that was a lie. We all knew that was a lie. But now I'm saying in 2025, half of the starting quarterbacks are black. We never seen a black backup quarterback, and now we see down there every team got a black quarterback. We never seen black head coaches. Now we're seeing black head coaches.
That talent shift was real. You know, like you see more of the talent, so you can't deny it anymore. It's like right in front of your face.
And guess
You
what
can't
he
keep
started
saying,
with?
"Oh, well, the black QBs are
and
not
he
smart enough. They're not
right,
smart enough."
and he
You
asked
know, now
why.
it's become undeniable.
Right, he asked why did they make that change? Because at the end of the day, I'm gonna tell you why they made that change on the field.
Exactly.
White people are competitive with each other. They want to
They
win.
want to win.
It's no different than when Texas Western put all those black boys on the court and they beat them white boys. And then all them white colleges start saying, damn, and Bear Bryant was like, you know what, let me get some of these black out the USC when they beat the brakes off Alabama. They say, you know what? Let me get some of these black players out here too, because we want to win. And that's what happened when you start getting some of those black. When Mike Vick came, Mike Vick revolutionized the game in so many ways.
Exactly.
Don't get me wrong. It was black quarterbacks before Mike Vick, Randall Cunningham, and a lot of other guys. But
Don
what Mike Vick did,
it was
right,
yeah.
Right. But what Mike Vick did on a national stage with the Mike Vick experience, every owner in football said, I want one of those.
Exactly.
Who run the 4-2 and can throw 70 yards on the back foot.
Exactly.
Now,
so, but the whole point was what? Why did they change? They changed because they had to change. They wanted to win. Everything was getting faster. Everybody, all these black players you had on defense, white folks couldn't get away from them no more. You seen these quarterbacks getting knocked on their behind, and all of a sudden, remember that's when they made it the new rule for Tom Brady. Remember when they broke Tom Brady's shin. Pop.
Yeah, you talking about going low? Yeah.
Yeah, they went low and they popped that leg. It was like, look, we got to change that up. So man, that's my thing. The talent was already there. Everything was already there. We've been great. Just like when they infused the Negro League stats over with the they had to infuse those stats over with them. I'm like, are you kidding me? They was better than y'all. They're better. Not they comparable. They're better. They're faster. They hit further. They run. Come on, man. They're intuitive. They're better pitchers. Come on, man. The whole nine.
You got
all right. Now, hold on, because we this conversation could go on for hours. In terms of racism and this and that, and this and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? So final thoughts for you. You good?
I think you
final thoughts for you, Notty.
I think you got to troll. That's funny. They got to be. He just got to be trolling. I hope.
Well, let's make America great again. No black QBs.
Yeah. That got to be.
Yeah, I saw the comment.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well,
Final point. My final point is on Shedeur. I'm glad.
How do you think he's going to do this week against the Niners? We'll move it that way. So, what are your predictions for Shedeur this week? What would you like to see, should I say, from Shedeur, this week against the Niners?
Because the way the media is going, I can't even tell you what I think he's going to do. I'm just going to say.
What would you like to see? I'm asking.
What I would like to see, I would like to see him go ball out and win this football game. Even if he put up the same numbers he put up against the Raiders, if he put up those same numbers against the 49ers and the Cleveland Browns win the game, that means for me, you have to stick with him going. You have to go. You just go ahead and name him your starter for the rest of the season and go ahead and decide that this is the quarterback I'm going to develop going forward. Again, like I told you last week and the week before that, it sucks for Dylan Gabriel because he's not going to get a fair shake. But like I told you, both of them ain't going to get a fair shake. One of these guys got to get screwed. And sometimes you lose your job to injury. I've seen it happen to I saw Alex Smith, a white quarterback, with 13-1. They put Colin Kaepernick in for 1 week, and Jim Harbaugh said, I'm sticking with Colin Kaepernick from here on out. I'm sticking with the black guy because I want to win. So, that's just how it goes. It's unfortunate for Dylan Gabriel. I think he'll still have a solid career, whether it's in Cleveland or somewhere else. But I hope Shedeur goes and ball out this week against San Francisco, solidify the job, and make it to where they have to go ahead and name him the starter for the rest of the season. Allow him to develop and see if he can be the answer going forward or if you need
Mhm.
to go into the draft and get another quarterback next year. So let's just hope he ball out.
What do you like? What would you like to see from Shedeur this week, Brother D, against the Niners?
I would like to see Shedeur to get rid of the ball quickly. That's what I want to see from Shedeur. If he gets rid of the ball quickly and they properly utilize the run game, if they can do those two things, I think that he'll do well. I think he'll do very well if he could just get that ball out of his hand, because they're definitely coming for him. San Fran, it's going to be different. It's going to be very different, and I don't want him to become overwhelmed in that moment, even though he shows poise. But getting hit and is a little bit different from just like I'm showing poise because I got chased. You start getting popped. Yeah, yes, because it takes your energy when you get hit. It's not just you get hit like, oh God, you got hurt, you get back up. Like it's not like Toyland. It depletes you. Every little chip, every little pop, and it takes you down a little bit more. So and it also throws your thinking timing off. So but that's what I want. That's what I want to see from him, and I think he'll do well.
Oh, piggybacking off of what both of you just said. Um, I would like to see that chemistry develop more between Shador and Quinshawn. It was on a little bit on
Mm-hmm.
display in yesterday's game, you know, but I would like to see that develop a little bit more. Hopefully, with some more reps, we'll get to see more of it, against San Fran. I would like for Jerry Jeudy to pay attention, like when he has a chance to get into that end zone. Because that was crazy to me that happened. I think they could have had another 7 points on the board, but we'll never know. I would like to see Kevin Stefanski let go just a little bit. I feel like in a way he also kind of held Dylan Gabriel back a little bit because he's playing it so they don't sort of the rookie QBs are not the reason why they lose the game, and leaning more on the defense. And I understand why he's doing that because the defense is so freaking great, and you had Miles Garrett obviously, but in order to truly know what you have with both QBs, like let them off the range just a little bit. Now Dylan Gabriel obviously has had way more time, with the ones and stuff like that. Shador is a little bit limited in that, and it is what it is at this point. Um, but in the moments where Shador has a chance to make a big play, I would like to see him to trust him to go for it, and for Shador to trust himself to go for it. Now, I would also like to see uh, how this O line supports Shador in this game because the defense is going to give opportunities, I believe, to get back on that field more times than not because the defense is so good. And that San Fran defense is also legit. So the O line is going to have to protect Shador a little bit more, buy him a little bit more time, to scramble, to get the ball out of his hands. Because if he just rushes and throws it, it's going to be intercepted. We saw that today when they played the Panthers. You know what I mean? So he can't just rush and just throw it. You know. But all in all, I just want to see him play smart, play with confidence, and believe in himself. He has these moments where he wants to be legendary, and I get it. So sometimes, like you see it on full display. Like he wants to put the cape on. He wants to show you he's the reason why you're winning games, not just him out there helping you not lose the game. And that can overshadow sometimes, and that could be a detriment. As much as it is something that you admire. In those kind of moments where you do what you don't, you put your cape on unnecessarily, you can cause the team to lose the game. I do believe it's going to be a close game. I don't think that San Fran is going to run up the score because their defense is so good. And I just hope that even if they lose, that it's not because of Shador. Like it's not like, oh damn, Shador, you played awful. Like you're the reason why
Mm-hmm.
they lost the game. As it pertains to Dylan Gabriel, though, what you were saying, Notty, I think it really depends on how Shador looks in this game, whether they go back to Dylan Gabriel. Now, for me, I think we've seen enough of Dylan Gabriel, and I would end the season with Shador to see which QB I believe has the most potential to develop going forward. And if it's neither one, then you find somebody else in the draft. And if you feel like, you know what, Shedeur is not it, moving forward, Dylan Gabriel is going to be a starting QB, and we're going to move forward with him, and we're going to build around him, and move forward with this franchise to keep the defense going. And, and if it's Shedeur, then move forward with Shedeur. But don't keep them both there anymore. You know what I mean? After this season, figure out what you're going to do with both of them, one of them, and if you're going to keep one or the other, great. Move the other one on. Because to keep having, two of them, going back and forth, it's not going to do any good. Get your experience back at QB and move forward. I don't want them to ping pong back and forth. You know what I mean? Make a decision, make up your mind, and go with it. If you're gonna go with Dylan, I get it. He's a third rounder. Shadeur's the fifth round. You're gonna go out of politics. Go for Dylan. If you feel like if Kevin Stefanski thinks Dylan is it, then go for Dylan. And hopefully Shedeur does enough so another franchise will say, hey, we like him. Come over here, we'll develop you. If they don't want to keep him, just don't keep him there anymore. If you don't really want to, you don't see a future with him as your QB.
I think he can keep both of them, actually. I just think you just have to have a whole offseason where you let them two, just them two, don't have all this Flacco, Kenny Pickett out again. No, just let them two. Y'all gonna compete for the starting job. May the best man win. And whoever it is, and the other one is gonna be my backup. And that's what we're gonna ride with. And I think that can work, but I don't think they're gonna do that because of what you just said. So
I hope they don't. I really hope they don't. Make up your mind. Go with who you think has the most potential. Build around that young man. Keep the defense going and move forward.
I
just
think,
don't.
I think they can
Enough.
give them a fair competition. Like this, like everybody was saying this whole offseason, they're not giving Shedeur a fair shot, and they weren't giving him a fair shot because he was the fifth rounder, and I had all these other quarterbacks. But if you clear all the quarterback rooms out, let me clear everybody out. It's just you two, and you two are going to compete. Then may the best man win. I think in that type of situation, I think Shedeur will. I think his ceiling is higher than Dylan Gabriel's ceiling. But like as of right now, I mean, I think if Dylan Gabriel had not had a concussion, they would have beat the Ravens. And I think if Dylan Gabriel had started against the Raiders, they would have beat the Raiders. That's what I think. But you did get hurt, and Shedeur came in and he played okay. The defense played lights out. You have to give Shedeur another chance. You have to see at the end of the day of anything, you have to see if he has magic.
I said that before Dylan got concussed.
And so let me see if he got magic. And if he has magic, then let me tie my hitch to him going forward as the starting quarterback. And Dylan will be all right if he's the backup. He'll be okay. He'll get his chance at somewhere down the future. Or maybe if Shedeur gets hurt, you come in, you play well, whatever. But that's just football. It's big but football. This ain't high school football. This ain't none of that kind of stuff. It ain't fair. Who do I believe can win me football games? That's who I'm playing. And so right now, I got to see if Shedeur is the guy. I have to. And if he's the guy, he's the guy. Okay, I'm sorry that you got hurt. We got to move forward.
Yeah, it's interesting. I do like the, what you guys are saying. You do have to find out who's who. I never would want to take something from Dylan Gabriel because, that's just not to me the way things should be done. I mean, just give everybody, if you got both of them, you guys created the mess by bringing them both here, so you have to figure it out, And I feel bad for either one of them if they get traded because wherever you go, you may have to, start from the giddy up, and no one wants to start from the giddy up. That's a long road to hoe. Now Shedeur may be given like a bump because people may say, you know what, I don't want all the flack behind it, or the fact that they see that he has undeniable talent. But I just hate how these things play against these young people, and they end up hating each other off of what the media and ownership and coaches are doing. So just hope the best for both of them. That's all. Even though I am for Shedeur.
All right, you guys. That's it for this one. Thank you all for tuning in. I see some of these crazy comments in here. Some I chose not to respond to, you guys, but trust me, I see them all. Nasir, I saw your comments. I know you were trolling a little bit, Nasir, but I chose to let you troll tonight
Blood
and not
pressure.
say much
Blood
about
pressure medicine.
it.
There you go. No, no blood pressure.
Thank you guys. Always a riveting conversation when you join Brother D. Always. We are always in for a history lesson. We are always sure to go someplace else. But you keep the conversation going, you keep it interesting, so thank you for joining us last minute. Notty,
Mhm.
aka James, is always here with me, rocking in week in and
Right.
week out. You guys, we will be back for week 13. It is the holidays are this week, you guys. So happy Thanksgiving to you
Yeah,
all.
happy Thanksgiving.
We
Yeah.
we have some great games on Thursday. We got some great games. I think one game on Friday, Black
Friday,
Friday.
yeah.
If you guys do some shopping, I'm one of those shoppers on Black Friday. Go ahead and get your deals, you guys, if you can. Save yourself some money.
You
And
have
be
a young
safe.
kid. That's why. That's why you have a young kid. Ain't no
I'm
more.
all about saving some money. He ain't that young. He think he grown. He ain't that young. He thinks he is grown. Speaking of
Right.
which, y'all, I'm gonna get out of here. So I gotta go to bed. I have to go to his school tomorrow, meet with the dean because he got himself in trouble.
Oh,
So,
that's part of it.
Lord, you a black mother for real. They tell
They're
your
not
business
out of
all
school
everywhere.
for the Turkey
he gets
Day.
out of school. No, he gets out of school on Wednesday, like a half a day,
Oh,
and then they
okay.
close Thursday and Friday and then the weekend. But he's not out the whole week. No,
Oh, okay.
only for Christmas they're
Dad
out for the whole week. Those 2 weeks between that and New Year's.
Yeah.
But
tells
yeah,
Benny like, yeah, wash his ass this morning. So yeah, how black mothers be. They just tell it all. You be like, yo, all right,
no, I didn't tell it all. I just gave you
Yeah.
guys, a
Well,
little
handle
bit.
that business. Handle that business, mom.
Yeah, yeah. Here we go.
Woo!
Fun times.
Nah, I'm joking. Come on now, Listen, y'all know I'm from a big family. I seen all that mess. That's funny.
Yeah. My first time though, I don't go there often, for things. So first time, hopefully last time this year, because I don't not have the patience for it.
Yeah, yeah. Don't just show up and do what you gotta do. That's all, man. God got your back. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully.
yep.
All right, you guys. Peace out.
All right.
Happy
All right.
Peace.
holidays. Be safe and enjoy the good food.
All right,
Hey,
brother
man.
D.
Hey,
Sh
Notty, catch
I
up
know
with you
Nadi's
later.
gonna eat the vegan food, right? You gonna have some
Yeah,
vegan turkey,
my mama is making she said
vegan mac and cheese.
she got like 3 vegan dishes that she got from Pinterest that she's making for me. So
Oh,
yeah, so it's gonna be cool. I look forward to it. I was thinking about making me a dish and just pop up too, but I think I'm just gonna get a nice bottle of wine to contribute to the festivities. But yeah, my mama is cooking me 3 vegan dishes that
That's cool, man.
gonna be
Y'all got
good.
your
Yeah.
parents in your life. That's beautiful. Treasure it. It is a beautiful thing. I'm telling you.
yeah,
I miss my
treasure it. You're
parents, man.
absolutely right.
Whew, Lord.
It's my
Yeah,
first
but it's all
Thanksgiving, my
This
first
your
one
first
without my
Thanksgiving?
dad.
What you mean?
Without my
Oh
oh
yeah.
dad, so
Oh
it'll
yeah,
be
yeah, yeah,
interesting.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
cause that's the thing about Thanksgiving. Like I
yeah.
don't really care for the holiday like that for what it represents, but
Hmm.
it is a good time for
Family.
just be around family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
appreciate
It
that.
is.
And I
Most
appreciate y'all
definitely, yeah.
for the riveting conversation.
Man, now you know how men talk,
Oh
man.
yeah,
You know
yeah.
how
I gotta
men
get you on my show Thursday, man. We can talk some politics. We can talk some of this real stuff and talk about the history.
Oh
Talk
man,
about
Yeah.
I'll make sure I listen in for that
gentrification
one.
and talk about gentrification and all that.
I'll be sure to listen in for that one.
Yeah.
That's gonna be crazy. All right. Good
Taking over.
night, you
All right,
guys.
guys.
Peace
All
out. See
right.
you
God
guys
bless,
soon. Good
guys.
night.
Deuces.